The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of The Drop with Trevor. I have Frank and Brian here. We're going to be discussing trucks today, all right?
All right.
What do you think?
All right. That's it.
Not
Good.
the moon landing?
What moon?
That's great.
I got some questions.
This is going to turn into you interviewing us.
It is.
So
It
what do
is,
you want to
yeah.
know?
Well, where are we at first? We're in Apache Junction
we're
at
in
your
Apache,
shop.
yeah, Apache Junction, Arizona. We're like on the edge of the desert. It's just nicer out here, I guess. I like it. It's nice. So
It's more deserty.
way more deserty. We get a bigger shop for less money.
Yeah. Less
Things like that.
people-y.
Less people. I don't know. It's going to get real packed here soon because there is a lot of construction going on.
Yeah.
So it's, You saw those big buildings when we were coming here?
Oh, yeah.
That
And
was,
those are non-occupied, so as soon as they're occupied, that means there's more people with jobs and everything.
that was my neighborhood that we cut through. That I was telling you. It's like the whole thing is now there's an airport. Now there's buildings. And it's like we moved out here to get away from that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what happens. That's like just
It's called
natural.
human migration.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like humans, stuff you want to do gets expensive. Okay, now we need to move out.
Yep.
Those humans, now they want stuff to do, and then it gets cheaper, so the people move there, and then and then it just does this and this and this and this.
Yep.
And this.
Yeah.
And
The
then the
natural
inner
cycle.
city falls apart, and then we start all over from the inner and work our way
It's a cycle.
Yep.
It's all it is a cycle.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
Younger people move into the cities because they don't mind that stuff. Older people move out.
Mm-hmm.
Cycles through.
Yep.
And now here we are sitting in Panda's shop.
In the
Trevor White. First of all, welcome to this week's show. Trevor already said hello. He already introduced himself.
Yeah.
So here we are, but we're sitting here in Apache Junction, sitting with Trevor White, more appropriately known as Panda, which is probably like where we should start. Is like, who is Panda?
We don't have we should have had questions ready
We do have questions ready.
from other people
Oh, like for ourselves. Oh,
to ask him.
I got a ton of questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was that's where I
Oh,
want
okay.
to start.
So are we going to start at the beginning and let him
Okay,
start?
so
or-
here's the thing too is like I don't want to get stuck on the story and like where I came from. People kind of know, you know.
No, I
No,
don't- I
no,
don't-
you
a
know.
little bit. No, I know. I just don't want to be stuck in the past. You know? I want to talk about like relevant but
yeah.
totally.
But we need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know. Let's start when you
The-
were where you were born and
Yeah.
how much did you weigh?
No,
And then,
maybe not that far back.
Okay.
Maybe starting with like, how did you get here? How did
why
this...
are you a mini trucker?
Exactly. Let's start there.
I don't know. Somebody had a mini truck that I really liked, and I just kind of every time I saw one, and it just caught on, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
This was a mini truck. It was just
Do you remember the first mini truck you saw? Do you remember any of that? Was it?
yes. There's a couple actually. One of my buddies, his dad had a super clean S10 right from the auction. It was lowered. It had wheels. They had it for 2-3 weeks, and then they sold it. But I love that truck.
There's always the one that you see that you're like growing up. Well, from my perspective, like growing up in Southern California, car culture is like a very present thing all of the time.
Yeah.
You know, with like even with like in and out. You know, like car culture is always present, but you don't really. With mini trucking, it's a little bit different because you are aware of lowriders and hot rods and stuff. But then there's that one, and for some reason, that one just is like you're like, I like
I
that.
really like that.
And that was that
Yeah,
S10
It was
for
the
you.
S10. That's why I got an S10. But the real like mini trucking didn't really come in until it was. I was probably a sophomore in high school. There was a guy that had a 90s Toyota pickup that was on hydraulics, and it was like spray painted green, and he cut the roof off. And dude did not he would just come in late, and it was just so cool. It was just the coolest thing. And like,
Where's that guy now?
who knows? Like, No, I never met the person. I never really hung out with them. I was too young. It was probably one of those things where it was just like, man, look at that. And it's like, I want that. And it was kind of one of those things where it's, well, it turns out that they're cheaper than normal vehicles. And turns out
you can make them cool for cheaper.
And like, let's, it just kind of went from there. It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things that,
Yeah.
I got hooked. I just got hooked.
So are you you're a born and raised Arizonan, like from this area?
Yeah, Mesa. I was born in Mesa. I've lived in Mesa. I went to Chandler. I've been living in Mesa since. It's like I was born here, raised here. This is it.
And then so you've experienced the truck scene just kind of throughout its like different phases out here. And
yeah. In Chandler, it's really big. It's kind of funny. We make jokes because
it's getting
like,
big now.
Well, no, not mini trucks, but like the truck scene in general. It's like we have a joke that like you can tell when you're getting closer to Chandler because trucks get lower and rims get bigger. And
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And
Interesting.
You cruise down downtown Chandler and it's a cruise night almost every night. It's just
Really?
random people. Nothing's organized, but it's always fun.
What kind of trucks are they?
Just
you
street
said
trucks,
okay, so
you
it's
know
like
what I
that
mean?
kind of like
Sport truck type
sport
thing.
truck. We refer to it a lot as sport truck stuff. I refer to it as like takeover trucks. I don't know if that's accurate.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that style. They
'Cause
like
that's
doing
like the thing right
burnouts
now.
and donuts,
Yeah.
and they just want to cut their beds and be low and just cruise and stuff.
I'm
yeah.
noticing that even where I'm at, I'm noticing like a uptick of that type of truck.
Well, it's because, to be fair, those are, I don't want to say the new mini trucks, but it's the new in your head. Like if you're young, you're looking for the cheapest thing that you could get you unique.
Yeah.
And honestly, those NBSs, the what is it, the 99s to 05s or whatever,
Yeah.
they have LSs in them. You
Yep.
throw some mufflers on them, they sound fast.
Yep.
They do burnouts easily, and you can lower them cheap.
Yeah.
And kind of like is also kind of born out of the whole like SenCal thing. Like, I think that scene kind of started in SenCal because you had a lot of like the farm trucks and stuff like that. Because I remember the joke was like you would go to like Danger Zone, and then you'd see like these badass trucks like all body drop, big wheels, and then the joke was like, well, yeah, but they have 350,000 miles on them because they were all farm trucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I, like a lot of things that are born out of different places, I think, maybe that's where that started. But yeah, it's
100%.
definitely growing. And,
yeah,
and
it's
you're right.
huge.
You hit on the head. They're just affordable
Yep.
trucks. You can do cheap mods too, which is exactly kind of how we ended up here with the mini trucks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, same thing. It's just at the time everything was a lot cheaper. Obviously now it's not, but yeah, we used to pick up mini trucks for $1,000 running, driving. Let's throw another $1,000 out and get it to drag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was
Just go have fun.
Yeah. It was always just about having fun, and I don't know. That's just kind of how we got here.
That's how you got here as like a mini trucker. So the S10, like I'm very curious about that S10 because that's how like we know each other, but I like don't know a whole bunch about like your whole backstory and everything like that. But I do remember very distinctly that S10 with the Panda spray painted on the side.
Yeah.
So that was that like the beginning of Panda built fab? Or?
Okay, so like we actually didn't go by Panda built for the longest time. We went by AZ built fab.
Oh.
And Mike actually was like, yo, you should change the name to something a little bit more catchy. And then he was
We're
like,
talking about Mike, Low Life Mike.
Low Life
Low
Mike,
Life
yeah.
Mike, okay.
So on one of the first episodes, he was like, give me a picture of the side of the truck. And then he made the little logo and he made all the stuff and made it shoot.
Really?
And it was, and then
That
it just
is,
kind of.
if you know Mike Venegas, that is very
he's-
Mike Venegas.
Yeah,
he's always
very good with.
making things
Yeah.
unique, characters, and creating things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
like
that's where Panda was born out of.
basically.
So who
Yeah.
decided? So who decided to paint a panda on the side of the truck?
So the shop I worked at was Creepin' Customs. I worked there for 4 or 5 years. It was just a low range shop that we just did installs. We did stereos, billet grills. You know what I mean? The typical, back in the day, the typical, shop stuff. Taillight swaps, bag jobs, like things like that. And they were really into graffiti and really into street art and the hip hop underground scene. And they're really connected with a lot of guys that did stuff like that. So we had a local show that we used to throw at Fat Cats back in the day. It was like on University.
What was it called?
The show?
No
it was just
name.
Like
It was just
it was just like
okay.
it was at a bar. It was basically like, hey, this is gonna be the show. We just have people come out and make a little bit of money and keep going. But the week before, we were like, I had the dub truck, the little S10 that matched the truck. The owner of the shop, Roger, put a bunch of switches in it, like in the tonneau cover. So I turned that into,
I remember. Yeah.
I have it still. I still
Oh,
have the
right
switch
on.
box. Yeah. And then he was like, it'd be cool if you actually painted your truck with that Panda on the side.
So the Panda was actually painted on the model, like
It was
the
on the model
toy
first, yeah.
and then they
Yeah.
suggested why don't you throw that on the truck?
Yeah, well, because it was kind of like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, we got to do something cool, but it doesn't. We want to just be kind of gangstery. I know mini trucks can't be gangster, but we wanted it to be.
I had this when I was here the other day. I had this conversation about mini trucks because that's just my opinion. But yeah.
But I didn't want it to be like something too violent or too like I couldn't drive it. You know what I mean? I didn't want something that like people were like, oh, there's that truck. But I wanted people to be like, oh shit, there's that truck. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of, we paid a guy, and he came out to that show and tagged it on both sides, and that was it. I
That's
gave him
so
$100 per side, and he knocked
So
it out.
you knew? So the Panda was already put on the toy first,
Yeah.
the model, and then did it have the gun in its hand then?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it did.
yeah.
Okay.
It had some other graphics on it too, like the Creeping Customs logo was pretty cool. Back-to-back Ks, like how everybody used to do, you know?
Yeah.
So there was more graphics on it, but we just kind of simplified it just to the Panda and the gun.
Yeah.
And it turned out really well. So
It's so crazy how little suggestions or little ideas like that turn into like, and I know this term gets thrown around a lot, but I guess it's a good term to use, is iconic, like, or at least recognizable.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yeah.
Panda holding the gun on the side of that truck is just kind of like seared into my memory, you know? And it's just, and there was real no direction. It just sort of like became something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the best ideas, I think, and the most memorable things are created that way.
It's very similar to a nickname.
Yeah.
Like you're just it's a nickname you can't like if I want to nickname you can't think of it.
No.
It has to come from someone, and it usually comes at it's like very quick.
Yeah.
In a group of guys or whatever, you know what I mean, and you just get it, and it just sticks. And
Yep.
like, oh,
Catches on.
Who was the first person to call you Panda? Well, I guess you can't know the first person, but when did it start becoming a thing to refer to you as Panda?
Here's the thing: is like nobody really calls me Panda.
Oh, really?
So
because I do too. I've heard of Panda,
but it's like you refer me.
Is it because it's like
yeah. Like, because you say I went to Panda instead of I went to Trevor.
Yeah, right.
Because then they go Trevor. Because there's a couple of guys named Trevor actually out here that bag trucks. So it's kind of one of those things that, so people just go, oh, take it over to Pandas. And it's like, oh, okay,
I see
cool.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick backstory.
Yeah.
When you said Creeping Custom. So
Yeah.
when out of high school, did you have any real job, or did you go into fabrication right away?
I always maintain real jobs. So that's the only reason that we've got to the place that we're at.
Yeah.
So technically, the Panda shop this is the first time I've ever actually been on my own.
Yeah.
So we're only about 6 months in.
But when I say real job, I mean, did you work at a shop?
Oh,
or did you do fabrication
I
on
worked
the
at
side?
Lowe's. I worked at Lowe's.
Okay.
I worked at Home Depot. I did flooring. I did anything.
That's what I mean by real. Like that's what I mean
Yeah.
by that. Like, and
But
then
there was always trucks in the garage at the
Yeah.
house, so I was always bagging trucks on the side.
Yeah.
So it became one of those things where I always had a side project and things were always going, but I was always worried the money wouldn't be consistent. So it's kind of one of those things I never took the hey, I'm going to do this full time yet.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
and then you worked at Porterbuilt.
I worked at quite a few shops.
Quite a few. You were at GSI too for a while,
I was
right?
at GSI.
Oh.
Okay, so I've been at let me think. Creepin' is where it started. I went to Just Plain Trick, Dark Side Fabrication, Forge Customs, GSI, Porterbuilt. Basically anybody out here that like bags trucks. Like not anybody. I'm not gonna say everybody because there are a lot of shops out here that bag trucks.
Yeah.
So it's like
Where did the welding skill come in first?
Porterbuilt for sure.
Okay, so
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that's where is that because their stuff is like it demands it to be.
So Nate Porter, the owner of Porterbuilt,
Yep.
is a phenomenal welder. Like his MIG and TIG will trump anybody's. Like I put him up against anybody.
Yeah.
Like straight up. He's been sitting at a desk for years, and he could still hop in, give him 20, 30 minutes. He'll compete with anybody.
Yeah.
Dude's boss. And it was just kind of one of those things where he saw my Instagram, was like, hey, I'm hiring welders. You want to come in? We can kind of figure it out. And then it was just practice 24/7. It was sitting at a bench, turn and burn all day, every day for years. So it was kind of one of those things that you had to kind of get better.
Yeah, so like when in the beginning when you were bagging trucks, because obviously you've been welding the whole time.
Yeah.
So in the beginning when it was bagging trucks, it was you were proficient at it, but then it wasn't until you worked at Porterbuilt that you turned it into like a craft.
Yeah. That's when it actually became like a quality. Like you need like there's certain things that you wouldn't think about. You know, you're welding, you get little tiny balls of spatter everywhere. If you spin the part, now you scratched it. So you have to physically, like little things that brought quality up higher was definitely taught at Porterbuilt.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can tell because right now you can't see it on camera, but behind us is N.R. Carl's dually.
Yeah,
and the welds and fabrication on that you've been posting and stuff is like amazing.
Thank you.
It's really it's really nice.
When my Tacoma was,
no one can see that, it's behind the camera.
Yeah,
Brian's Tacoma is here too.
Luckily, in the power of editing, we can
show that.
Yeah,
okay, we can do that.
So, but when Sean Thurman was putting the frame, the frame rails on and stuff, he was so worried. He goes, "Man, Panda can weld so good." He goes, "Do you think he's gonna make fun of my welds?" And I go, "Look, Sean, no." I said, because when it comes to welding, and you could kind of go to this, like they don't have to look perfect. They just have to function well,
they
right?
have to just be solid. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen welds that look terrible. But you look at the penetration, you look at like how it's set, if they prep the material, a lot of times like stuff like your truck, I went through it, all those welds, they're gonna hold.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be issues. I wouldn't cut anything out and redo any of that stuff at all because it's solid. Everything there was solid.
Because some people just get to a point where they know how to weld good, really good, but then they don't really like. I wonder what it was with Nate, why he took the time to like get it perfect.
Well, like I was saying, like I think that's craft. That's like the difference between knowing how to doing it and making it a craft.
Yeah.
Because what you do is a craft.
Yeah.
So that could be that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
But
true.
isn't that also like kind of a slippery slope? Because when you start saying like, oh, it doesn't look that great, but it'll hold. But then you start going down, you get to a point where it's people saying like, oh yeah, that of course is good. It looks.
But
ugly.
it's also what you're comparing it to. So
Yeah.
there's perfection, and then it's just like, and then just looks terrible. You know what I mean? And then in the middle, like most people are just in the middle because they're just trying to get a job done.
Right.
But it also looks pretty good. Like I look at a weld, and I'm like, oh, that looks fine. It doesn't look sloppy or anything. Like I look at the welds on my truck, I'm like, no, that looks great. But then you look at a perfect weld, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
now I see.
Yeah.
And then you can also look at a really terrible weld and be like, grind that down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that. Let's
yeah.
get rid of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do most of your welding? What means do you? Is it like MIG, TIG? Like
I specialize in MIG welding.
Okay.
I can TIG weld too. I'm not going to say I'm great at it. I can lay dimes, but it's not going to be top notch quality stuff.
No, you don't have to lean in. I was
okay.
just gonna just a little bit. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, MIG welding proficiently. I try to keep with steel. I can do other things, but it's like I've kind of got good at that, so that's kind of what I
do. You find that like that it's also a time thing? Because I know that I'm going to talk from a completely novice. I don't know anything about welding. I know very, very little, but I'm going to come from the position that I don't know anything. But I have heard that like TIG is more tedious and it takes more time. So do you find it like perfecting MIG welding, not only like it still creates like a product that looks really good, but it's also proficient and you can like get stuff done faster, and like in the end, like not necessarily like saving the customer money, but like definitely making it
more affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There are people like what's his name, Chris from Wicked Welds. He has that badass shop and he TIG welds everything, full chassis, full rails, TIG welds everything. I'm sure it takes a lot of time,
right?
Because you can only do so many passes so often, so hot, and get it done
what's
that
the
way.
what's the benefit? Is there a benefit?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those that like, do you want a TIG welded frame? Like Chris has done really good at making his chassis look phenomenal. And like everything that he does is really good and it's really done well. And like the overlays he does are awesome and everything is really nice. But like I've kind of perfected the MIG weld to like, for instance, the corner joints when they line up with each other. Personally, I think it looks better MIG welded because it kind of gives a radius to the material compared to if you had that same corner and you TIG welded. Now you have kind of a step with the welding.
Okay.
And it would take longer to backfill over top of that to kind of get that same look. But definitely, I think MIG welding is faster. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I know like also it's almost like a thing to brag about, like, oh, this whole thing is TIG welded.
Yeah,
Is it
Is it
more?
more? It's like a more of like a bragging
in the
thing.
welding world. Yeah,
Right.
definitely. In the welding world, MIG welders are looked at like
Which is-
we're MIG monkeys and we're wired. You know, that's what. Straight up, dude. People talk trash about MIG welders, man. It's like they say it's not real welding because it's like you're not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
they say
It's almost
too
like
easy.
cheating.
Yeah, almost.
I've
yeah.
ran into that exact thing, and for my truck, for example, it was built and like it was when it was being explained to me that it was like, okay, like all of the link bars are all TIG welded, and this is TIG welded, this TIG welded. The only thing that's MIG welded is putting the cross members in the truck, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm very careful not to. I'm not like talking bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's just my experience.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of got the idea that like, oh, is like TIG welding like a badge of honor kind of thing? Like you can say that.
I always
Yeah,
just
yeah,
thought
kind of.
TIG welding was for aluminum and MIG welding was for steel.
That's what I thought. Again, coming from like a completely
Yeah.
novice, like
Yeah,
I have
exactly.
no idea what's happening.
Yeah. You can TIG anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
You could stick weld it with the big old
Yeah, what happened? What happened to those guys? Where are those guys at? Just stick welding frames together.
underwater.
Dude, I've never even stick welded before. Like, it's one of those ones that's way too dirty, too many sparks. It
Yeah.
looks like it's you'd be burning holes in
Big
your
old
shoes.
rod. He's like snap, snap, snap. Like what is that?
And then maybe if that like that'd be funny if that
Maybe
was
you
the
could
badge
bring
of
that
honor.
back.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
not
Like you could be like, it looks amazing. You're like, yes.
It's like the guys that do body work with lead.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
it's lead, and you're like, I don't care. Put some Bondo in it. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. And
yeah.
you're like,
That's
no,
the
but
whole
it's
thing
lead.
too. Like that's a thing. Like you talk to old hot rod
Yeah.
guys. That's a pretty big like.
Yeah.
Like a bragging point kind
Yeah.
of thing. They're like, this is all lead or this is all leaded out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess it's just like little quirky things in all scenes or
Yeah.
all things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
Definitely.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But no, yeah. Your work is absolutely amazing.
So you were
Thanks, man.
Porterbuilt, full time here, part time,
Yeah.
and it's not just you here.
So right now it's just me and Cisco, and Jordan is part time. Cisco still works at Porterbuilt full time, so he's just here on Fridays and Saturdays. And then Jordan comes in. His schedule just changed, so I'm not really sure, but he used to be part time. He's doing about 20, 25 hours a
Yeah.
week. He's
But
really
like,
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like ownership wise of Panda Built Fab.
It's me and Cisco.
Okay.
Yeah, there used to be four of us.
Yep.
When we first started. It was me, Cisco, Jake, and Clay. We got to the point now where it's just me and Cisco. Clay has branched out to doing his own stuff. He has all of his own tooling. I mean, most of the tools that were in the shop were his.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just at that point where he just wants to chill on the weekends and he doesn't want to, you know. So he's at that point, which is awesome, dude.
Were you at that point too when you decided to go full time here? Were you at a point where you were like spending so much time here that you were not spending it at home? And then you were like, if I spend full time here during the week, I can spend my weekends at home.
Exactly. That's what kind of it came down to was, yeah, it's a lot easier. Porterbuilt was very lenient. He's very like I can't say enough about Nate because honestly, like you could walk in there and be like, hey man, like I just got to take off. Like he'll be like, okay, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
He
there
was
was
very
no-
like, you do good work for me, I do good work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's very. So at any time, like if there's any issues at home or, you know, oh, the kid is sick or I got to make a pickup or even here, I'd be like, hey man, like I got to take off early tomorrow because I have to go pick up parts for a project I'm working on Saturday. And he'd be like, cool, no worries. He'd always say, you know, hey, can you make up those hours? And it's like, yeah, of course. Like no issues.
Yeah.
And over at Porterbuilt, it was kind of like, here's your key. You know, as long as you're producing stuff, you can come and go as you please.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
yeah, it's always been really chill. But yeah, it's a lot easier now that I'm full time here. I can take my wife's schedule is really sporadic. She just like picks up shifts all the time. So now when she's like, hey, I have a Wednesday off, I can just be like, I'm not going to work Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I can be at home and hang out, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was
So-
it nervous? Was there anxiety going full time here?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like I
just think that's a good subject for someone to talk about because there's probably how many people are in that same boat
wanting to
Yeah.
make that shift.
when they. I mean, even Bobby was the same way when at Sadistic when
Yeah.
he was working full time at Toyota, like the consistent paycheck. And I remember when he did that. But there's guys out there right now that are bagging trucks, and they're like, man, I want to do this full time, but
Yeah.
you know,
You got to make sure the work is consistent. That's the biggest struggle is there's that since I've noticed, it's like there will be weeks, almost a month where I'm not getting paid for anything. But then the week after that, I'm like, just, it's kind of one of those.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
what is the key to that? Is the key to that? We talk about shops a lot on this podcast, and is the key to that to me is just consistently doing good work for the customer.
Yeah.
Doing what you're going to say, not taking money from a project and putting it into another project, making sure
If you get to that point, you get
pump the brakes.
Yeah. If you're robbing from this person to pay for the last one, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to take off. It's not, it's a constant struggle of trying to keep up.
and how
at that
easy
point.
it is to fall
Yeah,
into that.
that could happen very quickly.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of shops I've seen it happen. So it's kind of one of those that like you have to make sure that if you're getting paid, you're doing the work. So a lot of times I'll make sure that the customer's ready to pay, and I'll be like, okay, how much do you want to pay? And then this is how much work I can get done before the next step.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of one of those.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
so important. That communication. So
yeah,
important.
yeah. So I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people where they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to talk to that guy." It's like that's your customer, man. Like you got to jump on that, and that's your person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to make stuff as open as possible too. So like anybody that has a truck down here, you need to come look at your truck, and it's an off hour or off day, or let's schedule ahead of time, and I'll come meet you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's really customer service based.
Yeah,
like it has
for
to
sure.
be. Like yeah.
For sure. Do you
So-
think all of these years being in different shops and building so many trucks has led up to this moment to give you this like kind of like not clarity, but this like sort of understanding on how to really make it
Yeah.
like work and be successful, or successful in the aspect of getting work done and finish and moving on to the next project?
Yeah.
That all came from all of your past experiences?
Basically, yeah. Every shop that I've worked at, there's been positives and negatives on every place you know what I mean, anywhere you go. But yeah, you just have to pay attention to that kind of stuff, because it's like the negative stuff. You just have to make sure that I'm not doing that. The positive stuff, like I need to make sure that I double on that. So it's kind of one of those that just learning and seeing how other people have dealt with customers and builds and timelines and stuff like that. By the way, I don't give timelines. So like when people are like, how long do you think it'll take?
Timelines and final prices are like
Oh,
the
no, I
two
don't
things
do either of
with these
those.
big projects.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to give a final price on a step notch
Yeah.
or something.
I can give about prices.
But on a full
Yeah.
build, that's another thing that like being open and honest with the customer up front, not like worrying about them being mad at you. Like, hey man, you owe me $5,000.
Yeah.
That's it. You can be mad at me all you want, but it's $5,000. And like a lot of people will worry about the customer being upset about that, so they won't. They'll try to figure out how to not
I see
do
what
it.
you're saying,
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing. But the other part of that is what we were just talking about there. What were we just talking about right now? I just lost that whole train of thought.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. What were
we were just talking about like the communication with the customer and
Yeah.
just being kind of like I think the big thing is just the understanding as the customer and as the person offering the service.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think because like you have to look at it from both perspectives too, because being like me making t-shirts, like I look at it from my perspective of offering the service, but I've also paid other people to do work for me, so you have to kind of like understand that part of the process too as the
Yeah.
person receiving the service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of like have an understanding of those two things, like you have over all of these years, you can have a really good plan. Like we always talk about plans, like
Yeah.
going into something and having a plan.
Yeah.
And you doing this full time, that's what you've led up to is crafting or like honing down this plan.
Yeah.
To get to where you are now.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just kind of just seeing how everybody else does it and just try to do it. Still try to do it my way, but learn from other people's mistakes. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's all that experience you've gained over all the years.
Yeah.
So your shop, I remember it started in your garage, right?
Yeah, I started bagging trucks from my mom's garage when I was like 17, and then there's always, wherever I've lived, there's been a bag truck in the garage that
That's cool.
I've been working on the side until we got this place.
I remember because it's like refreshing my memory now when you were talking about like Low Life Video and Mike filming a bunch of stuff, and that's sort of where I got the idea was you guys were building I think an S10, and at one point it was like a few years ago. I can't remember. I'm trying
There's
to.
so
I'm trying
many.
To put together.
There's honestly there's so many that like a lot
Well,
of
let's
times
talk
I'll go,
about your
"Oh, yeah."
Nissan then.
What?
Your Nissan.
The one I gave up on? Okay. Ready? I have a 91 D21 Nissan hardbody. It's a regular cab short bed. It has an Arizona title, no rust. It is
For sale.
It is for sale as a project. It has a full chassis front to back. There's no front suspension, and it does not come with motor and tranny. Asking $6,000 plus additional to finish front suspension.
And the motor, the reason the motor's not for sale is because
It was my dad's out of an.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. He built that motor a long time ago, and it's kind of one of those that I want to hear it in something that where I can have him drive it eventually.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I want to hold on to the motor and tranny because there's too much money into it, and you can't get that out of a 454 nowadays.
no,
So
yeah,
it's-
yeah. So sentimental plus monetary. You're not going to get the
Yeah.
monetary. You'll get the sentimental. It's worth
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So, but the Nissan's not sentimental to you.
No, I don't know.
No.
I bought it for $100 from Clay. Dude. Yeah,
I'll give you 200 for it right
yeah,
now.
but you would.
Nah.
But leave it there. Take the
well-
motor out. We'll put a Titan motor in it
Yeah.
We seriously, like, why don't you?
because I don't want to body drop it with a Titan
Oh,
motor
okay,
in it.
right. We don't want 24s on a Nissan.
I can barely get 20s on a Tacoma.
Okay.
Okay.
And when I say I mean us.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a struggle getting
Yeah.
those wheels on that truck, huh?
Yeah, but we'll talk about that in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
future
okay,
thing.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the other thing is like if people have been watching your videos and watching the build process on your Tacoma, it's been here getting worked on.
Yes, and it has been a struggle, and not for anything except that it was started in the middle. It's like it's just a thing. Like it didn't come here stock.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't even go to Sean stock. Sean got it in a terrible way.
Right.
Which was crazy that it was just a motor and a front clip and then a rear end
Dude,
sitting there.
It blows my mind
and
every
then
time.
and then they're in like a one car. Man, props to those guys, man. Like
Yeah, they're
whenever I see somebody and their shop is small and
Yeah.
confined, or like that stout, the 6'4" stout, they have dirt for the floor.
Oh,
in that
Jasmine?
shop. Yeah.
It's
Oh man,
Australia,
it's
yeah.
like I give props to all those people who are pumping shit out.
yeah.
It really goes to show you
know?
because here in your shop there's no lift,
There's no lift. I
and
don't have any
and
lifts.
everyone was like, I want to shop, and the first thing they do is get a lift. So you can do anything you want with space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to have certain things to get to a certain
Yeah. Yeah.
end goal. You know what I mean? You just have to work around it and figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
What I've learned from lifts is they become storage real quick.
Oh yeah.
So it's a truck will go up on a lift and it won't fucking move for months. You
and
know
then
what
it's
I
just
mean?
occupied.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel
If
like-
you keep the truck right here in the way, it has to move. Like,
Yeah,
that
so
truck has-
whichever truck is parked right here is the first one to leave.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
Oh, so this is
This
the
is-
premier spot.
Yeah.
This is lead.
Oh,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Oh, that, I see
So
the
that's
Nissan.
why the Nissan is in the back.
is in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm starting to understand what's
so
going on here.
so the Nissan, you started that with the goal of that motor being in that truck.
Yeah, yeah. I really wanted something just
Did your dad
real
picture his
extreme.
454 in
Nah,
a
he
Nissan
was
mini
kinda
truck?
pissed at first. But yeah, because he gave me a 68 El Camino. It's the nice body style, like it's just a beautiful car. That motor, he wanted to do like pro street, like drag race, roll cage, like get down and I just think that cars nowadays would be better on some wheels and a paint job and a LS that you can
Okay.
just put it in drive and drive, and you can still do burnouts and donuts and stuff, but I want that car to be more of a driver. So I picked up a 6.0 for it, and that's the goal this year, is to make that car a driver.
Right on.
So, but that motor's just ridiculous, and I just
Is your ultimate goal to put it in some type of mini truck?
what, the motor?
The motor, yeah.
I would like to finish the Nissan if it doesn't sell, which it doesn't look like it's going to. People are afraid of a project with no front suspension, it seems like.
Yeah.
However longer it's there will tempt me to buy it.
Really?
Because I want another hard
yeah,
body.
Yeah, you want a hard.
I
yeah,
love
you're-
hard body.
Yeah, you're a hard body.
See, we
guy.
can take the 24s off of it. We can go,
Yeah.
we can cut the front end off and just do something simple like a Toyota front clip. You know
Well,
what I
if
mean?
it's
You
still
can make
sitting
it.
there in a year and a half, 2 years, we'll
It will
figure
be.
it out.
Yeah.
I'll just put your name on it.
Yeah.
So that's like a good segue into the next thing that we want to talk about. And you have notoriously said that you're a mini trucker and you like building mini trucks.
Yeah, I like mini trucks.
Yeah. So and I remember you saying one time that's the type of truck you would prefer to work on.
Yeah.
Right.
I would. I do. I really like building mini trucks. That's my kind of my favorite thing because, like you've seen, Jordan, he's got little experience, but he's getting down on your truck because you know what? At the end of the day, it's a mini truck. His welds are fine. They're not the most beautiful, but at the same time, it's on the floor, so it's going to get covered. So it's kind of one of those things that a mini truck to me is easier to work on, and things are more about making it work and getting it done than it is about, I don't really like that, let's change this little thing. And like when it comes to body mods, yeah, but like for the suspension, you bag it to lay, like that's what you do. And it's like,
and it's also like a lightweight truck with not a lot of torque, not a lot of horsepower, so you're not dealing with like it's got to work and strength, and that all has to work, but at the same time it's not like Carl's dually right here.
God, dude, they're gonna how many vehicles are on the trailer?
There are gonna be 2 vehicles on the trailer. It's gonna have 1,000,000 foot-pounds of torque. It's like it's gonna twist, it's gonna do all these things where that's not going to twist. That's
no, that ain't gonna move.
It's not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so. But then I remember you saying that. But then I came back a couple weeks later when you were working on the dually, and you were like, "I really like dualies."
That's what I was kind of like. I was okay to be completely transparent. I was kind of setting him up for that.
Okay.
To be actually, is it your favorite thing to build? Is just like the thing you're working on and kind of like putting your energy into, and you're like excited to do that.
Yeah.
So basically, you just like to build stuff.
Yeah. The building aspect of it. For sure. I've come to realize it's a lot easier doing a dually than it is a mini truck. You have a lot more space.
Okay.
So there's easy parts of both.
Yeah.
Where the bed of a mini truck, you're confined to certain things. And
I can pick that axle up and throw it outside. Yeah, I gotta fucking get another guy and try to figure out how we're gonna move it.
Yeah.
So it's it has its ups and downs, but I definitely am loving the dually because things are bigger, things are more heavy duty. I don't have to. A lot of people tell me that my stuff looks overbuilt, anyways. But on the dually, I think it fits perfect. So it's kind of one of those that
it looks so. I love how industrial it looks. Like everything looks industrial and has purpose. Like everything.
I think that's the what you're looking for there. Now, do you enjoy figuring things out? To where, like, okay, say if you have a C10 and you could literally put it together like a box of Legos, right? And then you have like a Toyota Tacoma mini truck or this Dodge Dually where you have to figure it out. You're like, how am I going to, like, do you enjoy that process? Do you, like, which part of the process is your favorite part?
I like building back halves. I mean, I think that's the easiest thing, honestly. It's like geometry is super easy on them. As long as your pinion angle stays straight through travel, I think you're good. But yeah, I really like building back halves. I'm not really a fan of building front ends. They're a little bit more difficult, but yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but like I like figuring things out, but the way I figure stuff out is not like up to terms.
And that's I was going to ask that question. Like, did you, because you're talking about the pinion angle and geometry and stuff like that, did you get to where you're at now just by like trial and error? Or did someone so it wasn't someone said like, okay, this is how you're going to do this?
No. Like when I started,
you didn't like read a book about suspension.
No. Oh yeah,
no.
Not like a book.
You know me, I don't read good. Come on. Yeah, no, trial and error, man. It's like I built a Nissan hardbody and the link setup was terrible. I went through U-joints left and right, blew out the carrier bearing just because of pinion angle changes, cut it apart, figured some stuff out. Figured if you keep stuff more parallel, it'll keep straight. Just things like that. Over time you just learn, and then you just kind of figure out, hey, this is better this way, this is better this way, kind of thing. So
I find I do similar stuff in video because people will be like, hey, how do you do this? Like, and they'll like chromatic aberration and all these weird terms, and I have no idea what. Give me a camera, I can make it work.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how things do this, and you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like why does that look better than this? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like that the hinge for the door on your Tacoma.
Oh yeah.
It's like you the way you were coming off, you were like, oh, are you sure you can build a hinge? Like kind of like hesitant because it's like I see people struggling building hinges for doors. Yeah. And it's like 30 seconds on the computer. You just go.
Yeah.
Click,
he went like that
and
and like this. I'm all.
It works.
Oh.
And like cut it on the plasma table.
He made it on the plasma software real quick and showed it moving, and I went,
oh okay.
Yeah, it's super easy. Like it's really not But if you were like, okay, what's the geometry and the mounting points of this and that, I'm like,
when you say like working out the actual math, you're
It's
like,
exactly
yeah,
why
it's-
it's exactly
yeah.
why each of us get paid to do what we do.
yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
I wear T-shirts every single day. Go out, ask me to make a T-shirt. Ask me to print the ink onto this T-shirt.
Right.
I will get a piece of cardboard and spray paint.
Yeah. I know. I was just sitting here thinking
Right.
that.
So
like, I'm
you,
like,
out of all three of us, you can do that.
Yeah.
and I get that. And I was like
Yeah.
sitting here trying to think about like, because you're talking about these like very technical terms as far as like cameras, and you're talking about geometry and math that makes this thing work. That doesn't exist in my industry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the most technical thing. The thing with my industry is it's actually very simple. I can actually explain to you how to make a T-shirt very simply and walk you through the whole process. But it's knowing all of these like tiny little adjustments to make along the way
To make it better.
to make the finished
That's,
product.
that's what I'm
good.
saying. That's in all of these industries. That's
Yeah.
why my truck's here being built, and that's why my shirts go to you to get printed.
Right.
And that's why when someone at a shop needs a video, they come to me to make a video or photos.
Yeah.
They can take a photo and view on their phone, just like I could unbolt something on my truck.
Right.
But if you're like, want it to be all put together correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But you're like, I was gonna say your videos, like all the like content that you're making here in the shop with all the builds is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really
I'm really trying.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like
could
it's-
tell.
Yeah.
I could definitely tell that
Yeah.
that you're putting in some thought into. We were just talking about this on the way over here. Like, you know, people want to. I guess this is what you're talking about. People want to something cool, and they know what the end goal, what they want, but they just don't know how to get there, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes some time to figure that out.
Instagram and those apps have made it extremely more user friendly to get to that end point.
Oh yeah.
You know,
But you still need an idea.
Yeah.
Like, I can
well, you
tell,
still need the vision.
Yeah, I can tell that you like when you create a piece of content, you say, I can tell that you're like, okay, I know what I want it to look like,
Exactly,
and then
yeah.
you got that goal rather than
Well-
I guess rather than just like randomly pulling stuff together.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like you plan.
There's a little bit of plan.
So I hate to say it, but I've sat on Instagram for a long time, and I've scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and I pay attention to what catches my eye and what keeps me. You know what I mean? You got 38 seconds in a reel or something. You know, you watch the first 10 and you go, huh. And
Yeah,
then you go to
yeah,
the
yeah.
next one. It's like I want people to stay till the end of that, because then that's what gets you the algorithm, and you know, that's what gets you moving and stuff. So it's like I just try to think about like what do I want to see? You know what I mean?
That's
It's
a
like
really
I
good
wanna,
point to
you know?
sit there and like absorb it and because like that would be it, like figuring out the end goal that you want to
Yeah.
achieve rather than just trying to create something, throw it on there and hope it does well.
Yeah.
You're
And-
sitting there and you're observing and you're like absorbing what is successful and trying to emulate that.
So what I've also tried doing, because I know you guys talk about it too, like finding the right song for stuff.
Uh-huh.
The right mood.
What I've starting to realize is that like if I make a reel and I can't find a song, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yep.
it's almost
Yeah.
like
I'm the same exact way.
it's almost like I need to, while I'm working, if a song comes on the radio, I go, dang, this is catchy. I like this.
Yeah.
I screen capture the song, so I know, and then I go, okay, I'm gonna make a reel, and I just start doing
Yeah,
the filming
that's
part of
awesome.
it,
Yeah.
and then I just
I
edit the part that I want.
even a photo like from our show, like for promoting the Forbidden Show or whatever, I'll be like, or the Arizona shirt, this shirt here, I needed a specific thing, and Voodoo Glow Skulls was a perfect thing for this.
Oh, okay.
And I remember like I couldn't find something, and I was just like, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it just to do it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not gonna.
Slapping something on there.
It's not.
Well,
gonna
yeah,
work.
it's. I mean, you can tell the difference. It's like one reel will get you 1 million views, and then the next one will get you 800, and you're going, wait, what the?
Yeah, like
And
what
then
happened
it's
there?
Because
like,
it didn't
what
click
happened?
the senses on the
Yeah.
people watching. it.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Well, you nailed it on the head. It just in that first few seconds, it didn't capture it, and they just moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to look at it.
It is big time. It's
yeah.
just like if you're making a video, and you're at the beach, you're not gonna make it dark and gloomy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
true.
has to have a vibe.
It's got to have a surf happy type of Beach Boys vibe, but not corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you make it
yeah.
your way, but it can't be like Sepultura.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you know,
and a
like-
lot of people try to like force that too. Like,
Yeah.
like-
yeah,
and
just
I guess
because
I'm
they're like, oh, I like this band.
and I'm
or
a little
song.
guilty of that myself. Like I'll do that, you know.
Yeah.
But I can definitely tell that it's like when everybody, and actually when we talk to Oliver tomorrow, you know, I want to talk to him about this because there was a time when like Domination Video came out, and he knew how to like match the vibe to the music.
Yeah.
But then people just like saw that like really hard screaming music and then tried to apply it to everything, and then it didn't make sense sometimes.
It makes
you know?
It's like when I say mini trucks aren't gangster, because I've seen people try to put gangster rap
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
in a mini truck in the gangster rap, and it doesn't work. But if you take a truck and you drop it on the ground aggressively, and it's throwing sparks and it's grinding,
then
that's
aggressive.
that's aggressive, and you just want to scream, and that's where that goes together.
Surface DVDs. Since we last spoke, I think was the one. The drag in that, the music in that, because he used Reggie in the full effect, and it's like one of those that's like it nailed it. They nailed it, and that's one that like will forever stick because it's real aggressive and really, but you got to match it up pretty well. But what I've noticed too is like when I do the gangster rap, I just leave the lyrics out.
Yeah,
because everybody knows the beat. Everybody knows the.
Yeah.
Well, there are some you can leave the lyrics in. It just depends on what you're filming.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
well, and going back to the whole planning thing, like what do you want to accomplish? What do you want it to look like?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a video last year for New Year's, and it was Flyleaf. Remember that fire?
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to that, like that has nothing to do with anything. And I just was like, heard it one day. I go, I need to make a video to this song.
Yeah.
And you would never think Flyleaf in like trucks.
Yeah.
It just worked,
Sometimes
at least for
it
me.
just puts
But
it
everyone
together.
really, they're like, holy crap, I didn't think that would work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So what else?
What else?
What else you want to know?
So what else I want to know?
Yeah, what do you
is
want to know, Frank?
You've built so many trucks over the years, and like the interesting thing that I found out about like your page, because you have your Panda Built Fab, you have your personal page, you have Panda Built Fab, but then you have like pages dedicated to your truck.
Oh yeah, I never use them though.
I know, but what I found interesting about it was like it changes like when you whatever truck you have currently at the time is sort of like how that page develops, and then like you change the name according to the truck. When you had that Dakota, it was I can't remember the name of that one, but now you have your Tacoma that you have now, the race truck.
That was the name of the truck when I got it.
Yeah, someone else came with that name. But like out of all those, like what's your favorite one that you is it like a thing where it's the current one that you have now is your favorite one, or out of all the trucks that you've had, which one is
why is it the Dakota?
The Dakota's
it's beautiful.
The Dakota's
Did you see it?
I saw it on the
time?
freeway. Like I was cruising
beautiful.
and it passed me, and I go. And remember, I told you I found one up in the mountains. The old couple owned it, and it was like beautiful. It was that blue and silver that those Dakotas came in.
Oh yeah,
low mileage, and I was like, I really want to bag and body drop one of these trucks.
Yeah.
Is that Dakota bag now? I've never seen it.
No, it's just static, but it just looks
good.
Nice.
We kept it like real, like kind of like OG mini truck. Like it's lowered. It has like a 5.7 drop on it. It's not tuck-in tire. It's just right above the tire. We found some Galaxies. What are the name? Are they
the wheels?
Yeah, the wheels. The old school billets. I think there's 17s that are on it. Might be 8. No, 17s. Centerline, maybe. One of those. I don't know. They're called Galaxies. They have with all the holes and stuff. It fits the truck real nice.
Yeah. They were those were the wheels that you had when you had it, right?
Yeah. I put those.
Yeah,
I put those wheels on it. I shaved all the bed holes in the top of the bed. I did a roll pan with the offset license plate, not the crooked one, just the one off the side. Shaved the tailgate handle. Shaved the hood pissers. We did new grills, new bumper. I did a full new interior, carpet. I, wrapped the dash and just like little stuff. And I had one of my buddies bought it from me.
Yeah.
So and he drives it daily. And he loves that thing. So
yeah, that was a really cool one.
I love that truck.
Yeah.
That was what's funny about the truck is I bought it from one of my best friends that he drove that truck in high school.
Oh really?
We used to drive it up to the mountain and go snowboarding in that thing like when it was original and stuff. Yeah. So it was sitting on the side of his house, and I was like, "You still have the Dakota?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Tell your dad I want to buy it." I was like, "What the fuck? Yeah, give me that truck." And it's like, I picked it up, did a paint job, did the interior, did the wheels, the lowering kit.
We're gonna do that same thing to Cody's Chevy. Remember
yeah,
we were
do you
talking
want?
I might hit him up and be like, "Hey, is that Chevy still on your dad?" Cody Gephardt.
Yeah. You're talking about the flamed one?
Yeah. There's a story with you in that truck, right? Like
no, it was at the shop. When I first started bagging trucks, it was leaving
Kustom?
the week I started. So they had just finished it off. So it was leaving. But yeah.
Yeah, and apparently that truck, I don't know now. I have to hit him up, but it was at his dad's property,
I remember the last time I remember ever seeing that truck was like sitting in a field somewhere.
Remember, I was gonna go get it, and I was gonna fix
that's
it up,
right,
and I
yeah.
was gonna do videos of it, and now that would be a kind of a cool.
right,
It'd be
yeah,
really cool to bring that back. You'd have to stock floor it. You'd have to get some new wheels. Hey Cody, I know you got some money, bro. Let's get this truck going.
That's one thing I love about Panda. You're always like putting a deal together. You're like, come on, let's make this happen.
You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
This is marketing. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's just because like you just like love all these trucks and you just want to, and that's the thing is like you keep getting new ones. You keep you build them. You get rid of them. You get the next one.
Yeah.
So you're not really married to any one thing. You're just whatever's cool at the moment, whatever you're into.
Yeah. I think the Tacoma I'll definitely keep for a long time. It's kind of one of those that I got a great deal on it. I love the guy that owned it before me. So it's kind of one of those that I don't know if I would get rid of it unless he wanted it back.
He was an interesting character.
Yeah, Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's awesome, like all time. But yeah, he bagged that thing. They drove it up the street. They drove it back in the garage, and he goes, "Let's body drop it." So then they body dropped it right there, and he had it for 15 years.
It's traditional body drop.
Traditional body
Nice.
drop. It's got 300,000 miles on it.
Really?
But it passes emissions, no problems. I haven't had any issues.
It's a 3.4 V6, right?
Yeah, V6
Yeah, that's
automatic.
cool. That's why it's the race truck because
the race
it's
truck. Yeah, but it's slow. It's so slow.
He keeps on trying to get me to put an automatic in mine.
Oh, it's an automatic too.
Mine's an automatic.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it just makes
Okay.
things easier, man. The master cylinder,
It sucks,
all that
yeah.
shit. The wheel tub with the clutch pedal. It's just easier running automatics
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I love the Tacoma. I haven't done anything but change wheels and tint it.
It's a cool truck. It's just one of those trucks that any more done to it, it doesn't need it.
Exactly.
It's just a cool truck.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
favorite part is the decal on the bed, the TRD off-road
Yeah,
decal.
I love
That's
that.
the best part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the best part.
I was thinking about having the whole thing resprayed white and putting the TRD instead of the 4-wheel drive, do the TRD race one.
Okay, yeah.
But try to keep it as original as possible and just do little things. It's like, I bought front and rear bumpers and grill, and I did the horns and the headlights and just like bolt-on stuff that you can replace. But for the most part, I've not touched that truck. Like,
Is this the one that you've had the most fun with, or?
yeah, I love it. I can get in it, and I mean, you guys, we mobbed here, no problem.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Dude, I've seen
You never
drive
aired
to-
it up.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
this.
drove that thing low.
I know when it's a problem because I'm dragging. You know what I mean? I just barely. Pop
And you
up
can't do
it's-
that on the 20s?
No, not really. You can, but the problem with like on the 20s to make turns. So like you either have to be really low and you got to make a left, or
Why
You
a
know?
left in particular?
because it's a bigger turn. You know
Oh,
what
I
mean?
see.
It's
Oh,
like-
that
it's-
makes sense. Yeah, because you're
So,
kind of just.
Otherwise, yeah, you got to lock it up to clear the wheels to make
Yeah.
turns. There's no U-turns on that truck with 20s. The right-hand turn, you better make sure there's 2 lanes wide. So it's
Do
kind
you,
of one of those.
do you want to go into detail about that, about your truck
No,
in the 20s? Not
no.
yet. Not now.
yet. We're not going to talk about that yet.
No.
We're going to have to narrow rear end. Let's just,
A rear end that's already narrowed?
oh, man. Did you see the other one? It's sitting outside.
Yeah,
He
is that
came around-
is it the same one?
I
Did you
haven't
measure
even
it?
measured it. He came, dropped it off, and put it on the ground. So, but yeah, if we have to swap it, we can swap it. I honestly, I don't know, and I know people are gonna be like, oh, no. But I think the one that you have in the truck is the most narrow one.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think I was mistaken because and people can correct me, but so Toyota rear ends went 79 to 85, 86 to 95, and then 95 and a half and up, or to 04. But
That's the Tacoma.
yeah, but that was 4-wheel drive. 2-wheel drive rear axles went from 79 to 85, I think. So if anyone's out there with a 79 to 83 2-wheel drive Toyota, measure your axle,
wheel mounting surface.
wheel mounting surface to wheel mounting surface, and let us know. If it's 57 inches, then they're the same. 79
Do it
and
right.
95.
Okay.
Throw a square on the end and do it. Don't wrap
Yeah.
the drums. Like we need real
Like,
measurements.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're working with right now. You're working with fractions of inches.
The problem is if I do have an 86 to 95, 57 was it 57 inch?
57 is kind of what we
Yeah.
measured out. Yeah.
If I got a 55 inch, is an inch on each side too narrow.
Oh, too narrow, and the wheels would hit
You
the
know,
frame.
I don't think so because where the wheel is sitting now, okay, that's you take off a half an inch, then it won't touch, then you're tucked another half. So it's kind of like a safety. It
Well, I'm
might not
ordering the
be-
disc brakes on Monday, so once we get those on, and we'll see if it pushes it out even more.
Yeah.
We'll go from there.
Usually,
I'll put 18s on it.
I know. Don't you?
I know
you
what
said
I
we're
said. I know what I
saying
said. I know. There's a lot of stuff that I've said that has not come true.
No, I know.
So,
Well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get it all done for 20s, and then I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to get some 18s and drive it every day like this.
yeah. Because it's like the Tacoma looks really good on those wheels.
Your
on the 20s.
your Tacoma looks really good. Well, I know I
Yeah.
was gonna say your Tacoma looks really good on those 18s.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it
I
looks-
love the
that looks
18s way
nice.
more.
Yeah.
It's
Well, choosing an 18 too, choosing the right 18
Yeah.
makes a huge difference because the styling of a wheel can make it look smaller or bigger dramatically.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I did, which I am going to get a set of 18s probably just for everyday driving, but like say I take it to mini nats or I took it to somewhere else, I'm going to
Yeah.
put the 20s on it.
Well, yeah. Like
Well,
I'll
the 20s do look they
fill it out.
fit
They
better.
proportion it
They,
better.
they
Yeah,
proportion
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
But
because
the 18s are a little more
18s on an
serviceable.
80, 90, 95 are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Tacomas, in my opinion, need 20s if you're just going to the rocker. Like,
Well, yours is a little lower than the rocker, which probably
Yours
might be
is-
another like
it's
issue.
not doored.
No, it's
It's
not
not
doored,
doored,
but it's
but
definitely
it's
lower than a
into the
body
rocker.
dropper.
What's yours, pinch?
no.
Yours is rocker, and
Yeah.
mine's still lower?
Yeah.
Well, because because the thing is you like
Well-
drug it and then you built the floor.
Yeah.
Off of
When
the
we
drugged
ja- when
out
we
cab.
You
jack
should
it up.
see the cross member, the main cross member that's underneath it. There's no bottom to it. It's just it looks like this, and there's control arm mounts off each side. Like it's gone, dude. It's gone.
Just from dragging or
Dragging, yeah.
I
yeah.
see. Oh, geez.
Oh yeah.
So now you have to go in there and repair all that stuff and.
Hey, we'll plate the bottom. Yeah, I'll probably just drag it again, but yeah, we'll plate.
No,
the
no,
bottom
no,
just
no.
for-
I'm an old man now. I'm not
No,
dragging
you
it.
can drag your truck.
I'm-
Don't
okay,
not
look,
drag.
Look,
What?
I'm not a dragger either. So I will put myself two things. I think I might have told this story before, but I'm going to put myself on blast in two things. Number one, I don't drag that much. I only drag the bumper on the back.
I do the same.
So I
I'm
just
not gonna
drag the
lie.
bumper. I won't drag the frame or anything like that. So we're at me and Angie are at a Dockweiler one year at the beach, and we're cruising around, and I'm like having a great time. I'm like into it. We're cruising around. I'm like dragging a little bit. So I get on the vlog, and I'm like, yeah, we're out here. We're at the beach, hanging out. So much fun. We're out here dragging bumper. And then Angie just starts roasting me. She's like, dragging bumper. She's all, don't say that out loud. So I'm like, oh yeah, that does sound
It's
kind
better
of
than
lame.
dragging trailer hitch or
Well,
dragging.
Oh,
yeah.
dragging trailer
Oh,
balls?
man.
Dragging trailer
That's
balls.
the worst. I can't stand that.
But yeah, I used to drag the crap out of all my trucks, but then once I started putting a bunch of money into it,
Exactly.
then I'm
It
like,
does change you. Like you,
I don't drag the Tacoma. I'm not gonna lie. I don't. I'll skim across the ground. I'll blow some sparks here and there. But yeah, if I want to drag it, it's just the bumper.
we'll have to
and I
talk to
pop
Will
it back
Freeman
up.
about this because Will Freeman
he
is his
dra-
very
he-
pro. You drag your
yeah,
truck.
yeah,
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
drags that.
Yeah.
He drags
But-
this real good.
That might change because Will's about to put some money into his truck.
Yes, he is.
He is going to bring it here,
Yes,
and
he
then
is.
he is going to do some stuff. So
Oh, you're
let-
gonna do some work on Will's truck.
Yeah. So
cool.
Will's. We've been talking about it for a while. It's just kind of on and off. We haven't set anything up fully, but we're gonna start the sheet metal on the inside of his bed.
Oh, nice.
We're put a couple doors in it, and he doesn't know yet, but I've contacted Seth over at Switch about doing a collaboration on the wheel tubs.
Oh, cool.
So they'll be doing the wheel tubs for it because the pictures that he sent me are like pencil etches from Nick, I'm assuming, but they're really detailed. And it's like to make those tubs would be way easier if they just made them and
Well,
brought them
because
over here and
Seth
I'll install 'em.
is like starting to produce tubs and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
they
right?
have a full fabrication side too, where they do sheet metal panels and inner fenders and wheel tubs and yeah, all that stuff.
That'd be funny if you didn't tell Will anything and he's like listening. He's like, wait, what?
He does. I don't think.
or
he
no,
knows.
he's like, I don't want Seth touching my truck.
Of course you want Seth Judging Your Truck, the sponsor of this podcast, Switch to Smoke.
or Will doesn't want anyone to know about it yet.
Oh.
Oh,
we,
shit.
We'll just ask Will when we get to the house.
There you go.
And then we'll edit
And then
this out.
and then we edit it out.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're back.
We're back. So tell us about now.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
dude.
owning a you asked yourself this question when we were talking last
Why
night.
is my shop so ghetto?
No.
Can I put you on blast?
Yeah, do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we just this morning we went over to Pro Performance.
Beautiful
and,
facility.
We
Oh, yeah.
went there for their trucks and coffee event.
Yeah.
And we're about to leave, and Trevor goes, "I just want you to know that my shop does not look like this." But then again, I was like, well, you know what? I actually feel more comfortable in this setting. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. We get more space for a less of a beautiful shop.
It's a very compoundy shop.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe for sure. It's
Yeah,
definitely got a vibe.
yeah. It's just,
It
man,
has character.
honestly, like the real estate market right now, it's
Oh, yeah.
just not.
Well, it's a high demand right now here.
Yeah, I was looking up a building right up the street around the corner, and the cheapest that I'm looking at is $1 square foot anywhere else.
That's cheap,
And
actually.
that's
I mean, when I
Yeah.
talk about like California prices,
Well,
like
yeah.
for real estate or
Yeah.
retail or any kind of like industrial space,
Yeah.
it's much more than that.
Well, it's so the landlord's about to raise it anyway, so it's kind of one of those that
Yeah.
we're going to get to that point because everything else in this area is blowing up right now. So there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a bunch of brand new facilities, and everybody wants, $2 plus a square foot.
So you think you're going to get maybe into some of the whatever they move out of to go into those new facilities? You're going to try to get into that.
Nah, I was
Or
going
you're gonna try
to.
to
I
get
was
in that?
I was really thinking about that. Honestly, like I talked to the landlord. I got real in depth with him actually the other day about stuff, and he loves what we do, and he's not. There's no issues whatsoever. He loves what we do. We keep up with everything around here, and he goes, I just turned down a deal to sell the building, so I'm going to keep it another 20 years. So
Oh, cool.
he goes, you can stay as long as you need.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's kind of one of those that like, if I
mean,
move over there,
you might have to
it's-
deal with a bitchy landlord or
Yeah.
an asshole landlord or
Yeah,
whatever. And
yeah.
here, it's just like I can do whatever I want as long as I keep this guy happy.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like, he's really cool with stuff, and it's like
Do
I
you
have
see
to,
yourself expanding bigger than this? Because this is a big space.
this is a very big shop,
yeah.
really.
Do you see yourself expanding bigger than this?
Actually, so like from that beam to the office, there's a shop that backs up to us, and they're part-time. They do like dirt track race car stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've always told the landlord once they move out, I'd love that because then
Okay.
we'd have an entrance from the front that I can just tear this wall down, and then I can make that kind of like a little showroom.
Yeah.
So when you pull up to the shop, it looks a little bit more presentable. And then you walk in and you go, oh, this is only 1,500 square feet. But then you walk through the second door and you're like, oh,
You're
shit.
like, here's the
Here's
whole
the
thing.
shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would love to do that. Right now, it's not in the cards. It's just kind of one of those that like everything keeps going up and up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel bad charging a lot of these customers more and more and more money. But it's you just kind of got to keep up with
Yeah,
how
well, I
stuff's
mean, if
going
you
now.
want, that's sort of the thing that people have to understand. It's sort of like us. If I was to make an example, it's like we have to sell shirts in order to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get like a little, I guess, shy is one way to put it, to where we're like, well, yeah, can you like we have these shirts for sale, but I think we need to be a little more like not open about it, but a little more open about it, saying like, yeah, if you guys like don't buy our merchandise, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you don't raise the prices, then this won't exist
This
to
won't
create
happen.
the things you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, and people are okay paying for things that get done.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
in itself is worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if
That-
I know that I'm going to bring my truck and I'm going to end up paying quite a bit of money, but you're going to pay quite a bit of money no matter where you go.
Right.
Because if you go somewhere and then they don't finish it, it's going to
Yeah.
end up at the shop that does finish it. And that shop that does finish it, that shop charges a lot of money because they do finish stuff.
Yeah.
Any shop that I've ever done videos for,
Yeah.
they are you'll see it. They're the ones that finish the trucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
they're charging a lot, but in the end the customer's paying
yeah.
probably less.
Yeah.
right. Well,
See, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, good.
I was just gonna say that's one thing that you kind of have to maintain too is like, when for instance, Carl's truck, if he were to give out real numbers, people would go, whoa, but you look at it and you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You go, I see where it's going. Like I hate when people are like, oh man, I got this much into it, and you look at it and you go, wow, that's sorry. It's
Yeah.
like you have to kind of maintain like you're getting what you're paying for,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And it also
So-
works in what I was going to say. It also works in the respect if it's seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
someone's like,
anyone
I can
out
do this.
anyone out there that goes to a shop and they're like, hey, I'm gonna hook you up and it's this much, or even just it's this, like, you have to be wary of that. Be
There's-
wary of the good deals unless you know them, unless you're buddies, like good friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it almost 99% ends up bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shops that have taken in a lot of work. Well, that's another thing too. I don't do deposits.
Well, I was gonna ask, like,
I don't do
just the workload in general. Okay,
Yeah.
so I brought my truck 25% done and you're doing that's because like we're friends, we're working out like a deal here.
Yeah.
But like a truck that comes in half done or a truck that comes in stock, or like what do you prefer? Do you prefer something comes in stock, full builds? Now that you're full time, like what do you see? Where do you want to see that trajectory going?
Well, I kind of want to, like, I know this is going to sound really pretentious, but I really want to get to that point where they only bring trucks here or builds here because they know what they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to make things more I hate saying it, but more artistic, more of like oh, you're having your stuff done there and it's expected to be higher end and expected to come out nicer and
a little unique.
Yeah, and unique as possible is the other part too. That's why I haven't gotten into production stuff really, is because, for instance, Carl's truck again, it's like I could sell that kit for that back end, no problem. I've had multiple people ask for it, but at the same time, I don't want Carl to feel like I paid a bunch of money and now everybody else has the same thing that I have.
So you don't want Carl to feel that he paid for the R&D.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like if you were gonna go into that knowing that kit, you would have told Carl, hey,
I'm gonna get
a kit and I'm gonna give you 50% discount on your labor and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would like to keep the one-off stuff going. I really like shit that's not painted. Like I don't want people, like I get a lot of people that are like, send me pictures of your truck. You out? Later, bro.
Later, man.
Have a good one. You know, they send me pictures of their truck and I just am like, I really don't want your truck in my shop because it's painted and you got big wheels and it's, I not that it's going to get scratched, but you have potential of that. And I don't do paint and body. So by the time I get done with what I'm doing, if I scratch this guy's truck and my whole profit's gone.
You could be in a problem.
Yeah. I like, bring me the cab. Bring me the sheet metal, bring me the rear axle, and bring me the wheels and tires, and I'll kind of figure everything else that needs to go underneath that to make that fit.
When it comes to painted trucks or trucks that have been done maybe a long time ago and then they just want an update, whatever, a lot of times their problems become your problems at that point because it's like, say a C10 that was done in the 90s.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, can you throw this GSI front clip under here or what Porterbuilt front clip under here to replace my pancake drop member?
Yeah.
Okay, well now you do that and that truck leaves and then the axle seizes up and breaks.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden that's your problem.
That's now your problem.
Right.
Yeah. So I hate to say it, but like 2024, I'm trying not to do repairs. I don't want to do repairs.
Yeah.
I don't want to do having issues with this and this, and most of the time it's the air management. You know, and people don't want to shell out for brand new air management, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't buy nice stuff, you're going to have issues. And I tell everybody all the time, I'll bag your truck with whatever you want, but don't give me a phone call at 2 a.m. You're trying to leave the bar and your shit doesn't air up.
Well, also,
you know, so
when it comes to air management, the install, because all of the kits work.
It's how it's installed.
They're installed right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And those kits are so touchy when it comes to voltage.
Yeah.
So if you bring me your car with a stock alternator and a battery and you're running 2 compressors and you're all these things and you're getting voltage spikes and all this stuff, like
it could be something down to use the wrong gauge wire
or it's too far away from this or whatever. It's real touch. So any of those kits are real touchy.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to install a kit on a piece of junk, I don't want to say piece of junk, but something that's just like, it has to be from the start to finish. Like, we're putting a new alternator in this. We're going to bump up this. We're going to put a new battery in this. We're going to make sure your draws. And so now your $1,500 AccuWare kit is now a $6,000 job.
It gets up there really quick, and it's
So that goes back to that question that you would prefer someone bringing you like a stock truck to bag.
But not even like stock truck. Like if it runs and drives, cool. But realistically, like I want just the sheet metal. I like building the chassis and the suspension and mounting everything that you need mounted. So, you know, front clip, cab, bed, rear axle setup, you know, link bars, bring me everything. So bring me your gas tank, bring me your batteries, bring air management, everything that has to get permanently mounted to the frame. That's kind of what I need. A rear axle that you want to use, but most importantly, it's the wheels, man. It's like you cannot build, I will say this and people are going to hate, you cannot build a truck unless you have the wheels that you're going to run.
Yeah, I didn't know that people tripped over that because I thought that was already kind of like a
I thought
already
that was
established thing. Yeah,
dude, all the time. Oh, I'm waiting on my wheels. I got a 2812 with the 4. It's like I can't do anything without the wheels, man. I can't. I can guesstimate your offset with your this and how far this needs to go, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
Realistically, we need to bolt the wheels up and take realistic measurements.
Could a compromise be at least finding wheels that are the right offset and size,
and
then you can upgrade later? Because that's what I did with my truck.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say that I had like super nice wheels, but I knew around the offset.
I was waiting for my wheels to get built.
Yeah.
Who's building them? This guy Craig. He's got a list.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I did. I'll basically I didn't even get into like the offset or anything like that. They're front wheel drive wheels. You know?
Oh yeah.
So, but I knew that the size I wanted, so I just picked up a cheap set, threw them on there, and then they got built. And then I was able to take the time to find the ones I actually wanted to put on there. That came much later. But
it's easier on mini trucks too, because like a lot of the wheels that people run on mini trucks are for cars.
Yeah, front wheel drive wheels.
Yeah, and they're always usually around the same offset, usually around the same width.
It's when you get into the multi-piece wheels and the different offsets and
that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult.
Like what size brakes you're running.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? That could change anything. Like if you go get a wheel and set it up, then later you want to put a
big brake
14-inch rotor with this and on it, and it's like your wheel's now not gonna fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I didn't think about that, but it's like a totally different world because most mini trucks don't really think about that stuff.
Well, they don't do. There's not a lot of parts for those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you bag them on stocks, and then then you find a wheel that fit.
Yeah.
And it's like it really works. But if you're doing bigger wheels on a full chassis, and you want to make sure everything's legit and it works out right first time. So
cool. Yeah, I want to go back a little bit in the conversation about when you were talking about that. When you're building something, you want to build something that I forgot how you put it, but basically when you build something, you want to create not a one-off thing, but you want to create your brand
version,
like your version,
yeah.
which is an interesting thing because like you want to get to a point where someone can see the work. It's like, oh yeah, that's Panda built. Like I know that look is a Panda built truck. Yeah.
Like a cow concept paint job.
Yeah,
basically,
exactly. It's what's not brand, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Like
identify.
Like
like you creating your own identity type thing.
Just a recognizable.
Yeah.
That's kind
even
of
back like you said, like cow paint jobs or like back in the day with like chopping, like you can tell that person chopped that car.
Oh yeah.
So that's what you're
yeah, I kind of want to. I want to aim for
Now that's
going
to come
stuff. Yeah.
When so you just picked this C10 up out here that you're going to build. You're going to use a Porterbuilt front clip.
Yeah, so that's the thing too, is like I buy stuff a lot and I'll just use other people's stuff because the front end of a Porterbuilt kit is perfect.
Yeah.
Dude's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's perfected it.
And it's going to be cheaper for that person. Your customer could be like, well, I want the front end as unique as the back end. And you're like, okay, well, that's going to cost like
twice as much, man.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah. Well, because there's things that you don't think about, straight up like the ball joint cups. It's like that's a machine part that you can't just go buy. You have to know who sources that and where it comes from. The upper control arms have, billet shafts. I don't have any Haas machines in here. I can't be making things like that.
So it's just easy for you to just go get the parts.
Oh, yeah, and especially for the Porterbuilt stuff. So Porterbuilt sells a weld-in drop member version for a 2x4 chassis. So you have to call and ask for it. But they do sell that, which is awesome. So you can buy the front end and adapt it to just 2x4 rails that you're building yourself, which is really cool. So, like, for instance, that C10, we're going to do all mandrel bent everything. I want to, like I told you, Vince from Chopping Block.
Yeah.
Before he used to do, what was the truck club that he used to do stuff for? Something Customs. They had the K's back in the day.
Oh.
Maybe it was just a club. I don't know if it was but that style. Remember the orange and red truck that he did that sold? It was like a quad cab short bed, and it was on.
I don't know. Nothing's ringing a bell.
It's in Redemption now.
Yeah, I know exactly what truck you're talking about.
Yeah, he had that style where it was tube work, but then there was a lot of 2x4 mandrel bent stuff and like rails that crossed through each other and like just things that were like more unique. That like I could see it and go, oh dang, that's Vince built that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And you're creating that for yourself. Like
trying. But same thing. So
So you're still kind of trying to find your way. Would you say that? Because you do so many different things on the different trucks.
Yeah.
You know, I watch you work on my truck, and you're just like, okay, well, we'll just figure this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like figuring it out, finding it, and then like with the C10 stuff, you might just like latch onto your way, and it's not like you're gonna do identical work on each truck.
Yeah.
But each truck is identical, and you can't veer off so much. There's you're constrained by certain things, right?
The C10 scene is different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
you have to be, I don't know how to explain it. You can, because this is a C10 chassis right here.
Yeah. So
And-
it's almost the client.
Yeah, it's
have to find
really
the right client.
You got to keep it classy in the
Yeah.
C10 scene. Like you can't go too extreme or too overboard, but at the same time, like everybody does kind of. I hate to say it because I know Scott's coming on. He's gonna talk shit to me, but everybody kind of has the same style of chassis when it comes to the C10s. It's all plated, boxed.
Is
you
that
know,
really
it's-
though out of just sort of like
It's out of
not
it's-
necessity?
It's
but
out of
just,
repetitiveness. You need it for
Right.
production work.
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense
Yeah,
otherwise.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna catch shit for this one for what I'm about to say, but like with the C10 world, they just want it to function and just exist. Like the mini truck world is always so wrapped up in trying to be different, trying to look different.
Yeah.
You know, getting very creative. Where that world, and not that the C10 world isn't creative, but they already have a good idea on exactly what they want, and
They have
and-
readily available parts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So they
Yeah.
don't need to be that way.
Yeah,
They can
exactly,
get
yeah.
that way when it comes to drivetrains.
Okay, so
Different
that's where they
LS,
get creative.
350, LS, this, whatever. Like they can. It's more of like a power thing.
Yeah.
More hot rod than where mini trucks
Custom.
It's custom. It's
Yeah,
right,
I
it's
mean,
more-
that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
There's so many weird things about it, but if you find the right, you could be the guy that the creative C10 client.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm targeting too. So when that
Oh,
chassis
yeah.
gets built, it's gonna set itself off from the other ones.
It's like It's like our buddy Daniel from Utah, who had, what's the guy's name up in Colorado? No Regrets guy, Wicked Well? No.
Yeah, Wicked Welt's Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did that C10, and his C10 is super unique.
Yeah, you
Everything's
see-
crazy about it.
Dude, the wheel tub goes like the wheel tub's this big. It's like 4 foot
he,
long.
par-
It's
he,
so
br- he
sick.
brings that to Dino's, and he parks it next to all the other ones, and,
yeah.
and you're like,
It looks different.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
Every C10 that comes in here, we're taking the pinch off. We're going straight to the rocker.
Yes.
We're not doing that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
that's exactly the point that I'm trying to make. That's what you're saying is
Yeah.
like if you want a little bit different, then that's the style you're
Yeah.
creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are the clients out there for it,
Yeah.
and you want those clients.
Yeah.
You want the guy that goes, I want the truck to lay low just like all these other ones, but I don't want it to look, when you look in the bed, I don't want it to look like all
Yeah.
the others.
Yeah, you want it to look different and look like a Panda built fab truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm not trying to branch into the C10 scene. Like I'm
Right.
not trying to.
But it's going to be a natural thing.
Well, yeah, but
He's like, hold on.
it sucks because dude, there's 4 of them out there right now. It's like
That's what I'm saying. It's already happened.
I know it's happening.
You
It's
know what I
happening
mean?
quick, dude.
Not unfortunately, but the people that build those, there's more people building those than mini trucks.
Yeah, by far.
So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but if you can take your creative uniqueness and put it into that, all that is a bigger mini truck.
Right.
Yeah, true. It really is. Yeah.
And then they go to and then what's cool is they go to the C10 stuff,
yeah.
and it gets a lot of attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of cool like that.
Yeah.
That's what mini trucks to me are, and the reason I like them, because
Yeah.
they're not supposed to be cool.
That
That
that's
makes
it.
yeah.
They're not
That
supposed.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
like they're,
I like that.
It's the same with that's why I like Hondas in the quarter miles, like the drag racing scene.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be.
A Camaro, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, the Camaro's fast.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
It's supposed to be fast.
Yeah.
Literally was built to be fast. And then it gets blown away by a 95 hatchback.
Yeah.
And you're like, that car was
You're
built.
like, oh my god, this has all-wheel drive, the fucking K series swap.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck is yeah.
Same with Jesse James when he used to build choppers that looked like they didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's whenever I saw a mini truck laid out and it's cruising,
Yep.
just floating, you're like,
Because it's not supposed to do that.
it messes with your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I've always been attracted to the scene too, because it is this like outlying thing. It's
Yeah.
different. Like not everybody's into it.
It's
That's
like
what I like.
you walk
Yeah.
by. I mean, even the trucks and coffee we went this morning. It's like, yeah, there's a bunch of cool trucks there, right? There was a few laid out ones, and you're just like, you look at the basic lowered ones, and you're like, oh, that's cool. It's a cool truck. But then
Yeah.
you look at the one that's laid on the ground, you're like,
yeah, like that's cool.
That's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
There was that blue one this morning. It was pretty badass.
With the utility box on it.
Well, yeah, that one.
That one was
that
cool.
was amazing. Yeah. That's a Porterville customer. I've talked to that guy a couple times.
Really?
He's a really good guy. Yeah. There was a 6772.
It had the nice blue paint on it.
Yeah, nice blue paint job. He had like the slosh tubs underneath the hood.
It was parked next to the square body one.
Had a nice set of billets on it and stuff. It was a really nice truck.
Yeah.
Like I was drawn to
dark
that
blue. It was like a dark blue color.
It was like a medium.
Oh,
it was like this. It was like the bottle. It wasn't like crazy.
You didn't see it.
It was nice.
I was looking at. I got there and I just immediately went to Trevor's truck. I was like, "This is cool."
It was not this one.
Okay,
it was parked next to this.
Okay.
One.
Yeah.
This one was cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Okay, so he's. I've talked to him a couple times. He's gonna bring his truck to have some stuff underneath, done on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's a customer you'd like too, right? Like that truck. That wants some sheet metal work.
So the best thing about that truck is he goes, I got to pull the motor and tranny out. Perfect. While you're at it, pull the hood and the front clip and take the bed off and then bring it as a cab on a chassis.
Yeah.
Because then it's less risk of damage to anything, and I have more access to everything.
Right.
It's gonna be way easier to do. I think we're just doing like cross member updates and some welding stuff underneath.
Do you like doing sheet metal or plate work, like frame stuff?
I like doing frame stuff more.
Yeah.
Sheet metal is cool and it looks really cool when it's done, but dang,
Is it like this truck
Terrible.
behind here? Did you make those tubs or are those like Hart? Or
no,
those?
so those are Hart Fab inner tubs and Hart Fab firewall panels.
Okay.
The firewall panels were already in the truck. Trolls Rod Shop started it, and I'm finishing it. I did the firewall, the center section of it.
Okay.
But what I did was I grafted the Hart Fab inner fenders to the factory fender, so when it gets painted it's gonna look seamless. It's not gonna look like it's. But yeah, that's one of those things. Like I like buying stuff. It's already done.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't make those tubs for what they cost.
Yeah.
Right.
So would you enjoy making those if you had the endless budget, or no?
I don't know.
Or would you be like, nah, it's cool. I like
sheet metal's okay. It's all right.
It just sounds like you like. Well, you said earlier that your thing is back halves. Like you like.
Yeah, I love doing back halves. It's just the easiest. If I could just build back halves and sell back halves, I'd be down for that. That'd be totally cool. Like like a DIY, like take it home, weld it on yourself. Sick. I'd be down for that.
That's cool.
Do you think, or do you see the trajectory of this shop? Me and Carl talk about this quite a bit. You went from part-time here, just messing with, now you're full-time, but do you see now getting more phone calls for like bigger projects, scheduling, and all this stuff, and then you're starting to see like, I'm a month out, I'm 3 months out, I'm 6 months out, I'm have you had that phone call where it's like a big project from like that one out there from start to finish? Or is he gonna contract the paint or wheels or?
Well, okay, so like for the wheels, I just went straight over to Travis at Pro Performance.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And it's like I have him deal with all that stuff. He made all the sales on that. I don't make any commission off of parts or sales it doesn't. I mean, it'll help. This year is the year where I'm gonna start selling product.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I never saw the point of making $5 on a bag.
Yeah.
It's like if you can get it cheaper because of my hookup, like I'll just give it to you. Like who cares? You know what I mean? You're gonna bring it to me to bag it anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is like your work is in the fabrication and the building.
Yeah.
It's not selling parts.
Yeah. So like I've dealt with the same parts people since I was like 15, 16 years old, and all these guys now have their own shops and they're doing their own stuff. It's like I've known Seth since I was like 17, man, when he worked at AIM. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Tom works for him too, which is super cool. He was at AIM forever too, which
you're almost spoiled.
Yeah, it's
here,
crazy,
especially
dude.
on the east side.
Yeah,
you've got Seth, Travis.
Yep.
Airbag, it's right there.
Okay, so let me give you my sources. You ready? These are the people I've used since day one, and I'll recommend these people for everything. So, I purchased simple mini truck stuff from Air Slam It. Dude's name is Travis. I've known him for 15 years. He's one of the owners. Perfect example. Call him up, ask for Travis. He'll make the sale. Go to Pro Performance. Travis over there. He's the owner of that place. Wheels, tires, sheet metal, things like that.
Plethora of Chevy knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wheel offset knowledge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
brakes,
on top of it. Yeah. Rear ends, brakes, all the mechanical bolt-on stuff that you need for your truck. Seth at Switch Suspension. You call, ask for Tom. Tom's my guy. I've dealt with him for years. You know what I mean? He always hooks it up, and he knows what he's talking about. So a lot of times you'll ask about something, and he'll be like, well, have you thought about this? Like, this product is just the same, it's a little bit cheaper, and I'll give it to you better price, and blah blah blah. Okay, I'll try it out, and it usually works out pretty well.
But they need hardware in their thing, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that video. About
I showed him the little clip
bolts.
of yeah.
Oh yeah, you showed it to me. Yeah.
If you sell a block valve, please put hardware in your boxes.
So you're not digging around for the bolts.
It's always the block valve's always this big, and then it's only going to a plate this big. It's like, we just need some quarter 20s with some night locks, man. Like,
so it is. You're set up pretty good out here for that. Like,
yeah. I deal with a dude in Australia, Mex's Garage. His name is Ben.
Really, I've been to Ben's house.
Have you really in Australia? Mm-hmm. Dude's good dude. Yep. Really good dude. He always calls me to run around and pick stuff up because he's like, you have no idea how well off it is there. He goes, there's things I can't buy or I can't afford or I can't find or and it's like, it's there. And it's like, I'll run. Like, I went to AIM and bought like 4 or 5 sets of Mazda drop spindles and had them shipped to Australia because it was too much of a hassle to go through the company to get this and then all the shipping and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, real fortunate to be. Arizona's like a mecca. Like I know Cali has a lot of truck stuff, and I know Texas is like coming up or whatever. But like Arizona, you know what I mean? Like,
that was awesome.
Sorry. I don't mean nothing against Texas. We know, but it's Arizona is the mecca, man. You can spit in the air and it'll land on a bag truck shop.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just do your research and find out who you want to do your stuff in.
Yeah. I wonder how that. There is some. I wonder how that happened. Like, I think it happened with what's the guy, the ragtop company, Legacy.
Oh yeah.
The guy that started Legacy. Now I forget his name.
Anyway. So the owner from Legacy.
Yeah, he started the company that Seth worked for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Seth, that's where Seth learned, and then also Chassis Tech, whatever.
I was gonna say he's really good with. Was it McGoy's?
Yeah, McGoy's.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, where it's like sprouted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with Porterbuilt, like, does Nate Porter? He's OG Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how did he start like that? I mean, I know he was on C10 Talk podcast, but I don't remember what he said. But just like, and then GSI's here, and then like it's just strange how it just all that happened.
Well, I think it has like you mentioned California and like Southern California car culture and stuff like that, and I talked about that really early in this episode. But like, as much as California car culture has existed, Arizona car culture has existed in the same space.
They're next to each other.
Yeah, they're next to each other. Yeah. And, but what I mean is like, you know, you're talking about how there's all these companies that have started here and still here, and there's all this like rich culture. It's because I think it's because it's so old. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of places other than Southern California and here
with
boldly saying,
okay, this might be a little. But it probably started with Joe over at AIM, honestly. You know what I mean? He was one of the biggest lower trucks parts sales people like ever,
and
right?
People that worked for him a long time ago go, I can do this, and
all those people are now.
And then Seth worked for this guy, and then boom.
That's the point that I'm trying to make. Is it's such an old thing. Yet of course it's gotten to this point because it's
the weather
been around so. Oh yeah, the weather.
Like you're gonna find some shops like on the East Coast like you're not gonna find nothing in the Northeast like it is here.
Yeah.
Well, Ridman Ranch is in Northeast, like in Oregon. That guy kills it. He's a C10.
That's Northwest.
That's Northwest.
Oh,
he's talking about like Maine.
Oh yeah.
But it's just because they like certain places shut down.
What the fuck I was thinking? I was like, oh no, there's
people. Like, what are you talking
there's
about?
There's people up there building trucks.
But no, up there is. But I mean, there's certain parts of the country that have to shut down for a certain amount of time.
Oh,
and even here shuts down a little bit in the summertime, but it's still. You could still get to work. Some places you just literally can't drive anywhere, and it sucks. And there's no meets. No one wants to leave their house. California and here.
How do you drive in snow? Like, do you have to? So answer this question, okay?
I can't because when I see people driving on a road that's all white, it freaks me out.
Well, what I want to know is, do you prepare to like shovel your car out an hour before you get ready and stuff, and then like your employer is. No matter what the weather, they're expecting you to be there.
I think so. Yeah, I see a lot of like TikToks and people talking about that with this recent big storm thing. Yeah, people are just out there freaking shoveling stuff.
Have you seen the driveways where they put heated coils in it? So they'll be like the houses, and then the one guy, it's like his.
They'll do hot water lines.
Yeah.
So like it'll run through the ground.
How do you know where the street ends and not? Like
I don't know.
I would just
I've
be
driven
driving
in
off
snow,
the
like
road.
twice.
I would just be like, well, the road turns, and I would just go straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I know you get used to it and all that stuff, but at the same time, like
And it's like damaging on your car. You ever been on the freeway like when there's snow?
when they put the salt and stuff down.
Yeah.
Dude,
and
like we drove
rocks
through
and stuff.
Utah one time. Like we were in what were we in? My wife's grandma's like Dodge Neon or something. Semi comes by just
Oh, pelting.
blasting the
And-
car. It's like, dude, we just took so much damage. Like, should we call insurance? Like,
And
what
that's-
is
and
this?
that's
Like, no, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's really to your point, because like you're saying, like here, you like it. Yeah, it gets hot, but if you can fight the heat, you can still go cruise your truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Turn
But-
the air conditioner on.
Right,
I don't
but
have
like,
AC.
if you live in a place like where they have really harsh winters, you're taking that risk. Like, if you're going to go cruise your truck, it might get damaged.
Well, also,
Yeah.
there's no one to see you cruising it.
That's
you
true.
cruise your truck
Yeah.
because it's enjoyable to cruise, but you also love seeing people look
Right.
at you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Like you're like,
That's kind of the whole point of a mini truck is
It
the
is kind of-
attention
it
that
is.
you
Oh
get.
yeah,
it really
yeah.
is.
That's what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. It's
Yeah.
like these trucks are ridiculous trucks that aren't supposed to do this. Of course, we're craving.
they're all
attention.
uncomfortable and whatever. Like
Yeah,
they suck.
you
You're
get
in there
into a
just like,
traditional body drop truck.
yeah, you're trying to
know?
make it seem like it's cool. You're like, yeah, it's just awesome.
You have to like go like this to wave to people at
Yeah.
the windshield and
Yeah,
stuff.
you have to
funny.
move your knee out of the way. But yeah, like so, I think that like, where are you gonna drive when it's snowing? Like
Yeah,
that?
no.
There's nowhere.
They just
So it's
park 'em.
cool for parts of the year, and I think that's Texas. Why Texas is also popular in the South. It doesn't get like that, but yeah, I don't know. It's what were we talking about?
I don't know.
The
I
snow,
have to-
how it sucks.
I have to excuse myself. I have to use the restroom.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Where's the restroom at?
Oh yeah, this is
right
an
out-
interesting
right out
one.
that door.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never had to do this in the middle of recording a podcast.
That's
Bathroom
because you
break?
drank a whole water.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I kind of have to pee too.
Oh yeah.
I'll use the front bathroom. You use the back one.
Okay, I want to be right here. We're still.
Yeah, we're still recording.
okay.
So yeah, we're back.
We're back. So the only other real thing that I want to talk to you about was just about you're in No Regrets. You're in
I
a
am.
truck club.
Yeah.
So like, what? How long you've been in No Regrets? Like, what had been your experience? Why No Regrets?
Are you the president of the East Side chapter?
Well, all two of us
Yeah.
on the east side. I don't know if I want to tell that story. It's kind of fucked up.
About getting in No Regrets?
Being in?
About okay, so all right.
Oh, now I want.
Now we
know.
have to
Yeah,
know.
now I want.
I
to know.
was 17, and I didn't know anything about the truck scene. I didn't know anything about.
How old are you
anything.
now?
I'm 36.
Okay, so
Oh.
close to 20 years ago.
20 years ago. I had Mini Trucking Magazine. I loved it. I had a truck. It wasn't bagged or anything. I had a full-size notch. It was like 8-10 drop on my S10, like dragging frame everywhere. I saw a No Regrets logo on the back window of a truck in a magazine, and I was like, that is fucking sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went to the tattoo guy, and I was like, I want this blasted on my back. So shoulder to shoulder blade, I have a No
Really?
Regrets logo on my back.
Before you were No Regrets.
I had no idea it was even a club.
This is an amazing
Whoa, this
story.
is this is awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
You just thought, did you know what a truck club was? Or did you
not
just
a
think
clue.
that
not
guy
not
had a cool
clue.
sticker on
I had, yeah, I just thought it was the coolest sticker. I was like, dude, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like the font's cool, the stars. I was like,
the font?
yeah. So like, yeah, and then I
Whose
went.
logo was it?
It was a extended cab Silverado OBS. It had it was somebody in SoCal, blue and black.
Tyson.
Is it Tyson's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, was it OBS?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, extended cab.
Did it have
It was
the
like-
Escalade front end?
No, it was a picture from the back, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think it was didn't Quigley have a full size
I
then?
think Quigley has that truck now.
Yeah. Okay. Then that's why I think that. So yeah.
Okay, so we went to Summer Splash. It was the only year they had it. What was that 06 or 07 or something? I think I was still in high school. I didn't graduate till 06. And I went to it. We were going to it. This was the
And you saw a bunch of your tattoos everywhere?
You're
You're
like,
like,
Hold on.
so going up there, we got lost. This was the MapQuest days where you just have a piece of paper. We got lost. There was a heavy rain the week before, so a lot of roads were closed. And
Oh, yeah.
Summer Splash was in the middle of nowhere. It was like a campground, like right on the river,
Yeah.
right? So I run into Lionel and Jason Silva
Yep, Severed.
from Severed at a gas station, and they go. I was like, "Oh shit, are you guys on the show? Can we follow you?" And he was like, "Well, who are you with?" And I was like, "I don't know, nobody." Like, what do you mean? And I was like, "I'm."
I think
middle
it
of
was
the-
No Regrets.
Yeah, I
yeah,
was
you're
like-
like, who am I with? I'm in
Well,
the middle of the desert.
Yeah, I
dude.
was like, I'm. what? I was like, I don't know what that means. I was like, I don't know. I'm just going. He's like, where are you sleeping? I was like, in my truck. And he goes, welcome to Severed, bro. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, okay. So we get, this is so great. I follow them all the way to Summer Splash. And, you know, the first night, you know, they're introducing me to everybody and like, you know, this is the new guy. And then we go to get in the river and I take my shirt off and Jason goes, hold up. I was like, what? I was like, what? Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? And he was like, yo, man, like you have a massive car club tattooed like on your back. And I was like, oh yeah, no shit. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, man. He's like, put your shirt back on. You know any of those guys? I was like, no. And he was like, you put your shirt back on.
No.
I was like,
way.
Okay. I was like, all right. Like, I didn't know.
Yo, what the heck is going on?
Welcome to Severed.
This is an amazing story.
Dude,
oh my god, dude.
So long story short, I lost the alternator at that show. I had to replace the alternator. Everybody leaves, whatever. Maybe a couple months later, I was like, I'm still in high school. So I was like, that's when Facebook came out and you could start groups. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm going to start a group called No Regrets. I was like, fuck yeah, this is tight, right? Yeah, this is why I didn't want to tell this story.
No,
this is the best story
I've ever heard.
So I put, oh, and by the way, after I found out it was a truck club, I sent my back picture into Mini Truckin' and they put it in there. And Ernie was like, who the fuck has this tattoo? No. At the time, it was the biggest No Regrets tattoo done. And he was like, who the fuck is this? Like, so I started this page.
And there's really no way for him to find, like,
I had no idea.
How would you know?
I had no
idea. Back in
idea.
the olden days.
Yeah. So I start this little group, call it No Regrets. And I want to say it was Chad got in there. And he goes, who the fuck are you? And I was like,
it wasn't
what?
Chad, because Chad wasn't in No Regrets.
Okay, it was SoCal somebody. Who has the NR on the back of their head? Or on the back of their
Moses.
Okay.
Mo.
I get this message, we're going to send this guy out there and fucking deal with this shit. And
yeah,
I was like,
that's them.
I was like, yo,
what?
Like I was like, wait, hold. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And then I got a message from Bobby. And Bobby goes.
Veneri?
No, out here.
Thompson?
Yeah. Him and Pat, I think, were running it out in Arizona at the time, and they were super cool. They were just like, yo, man, like, you're into bag trucks? I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, let's meet up. Like, let's have a sit down. And I was like, fucking hearts pounding. I'm like, I'm gonna get jumped by all these old guys.
I'm about to get fucking aired out right now.
Well, we went to Applebee's. We had to sit down and stuff. And he was just like, yo, man, he's like, you're cool. If you want to start coming around, cool. That's tight. And then it just kind of went off.
What would they have done if you said no? What did that? Imagine that. You're just like, you know what? No, I don't want to get in your club.
Well, at the time, it was like,
it would have been way funnier if he's like, they told me I'm in Severed, so.
Yeah, right? I've already signed some paperwork.
I'm already kind of signed up.
But he was really cool. They were really cool. They were like, come out to Ryan's house. That's when Ryan Nelson used to have parties all the time. Oh, yeah. And I just hit it off with everybody. Everybody was really cool. And the club was really laid back. So.
You're really lucky that you tattooed that on your back and not like a different club. And then imagine if you
didn't work out.
That didn't work out. Yeah. I know.
That is the most amazing story I've ever heard.
Yeah, like it was just a club, and then you get to that club and you're just like, I don't like these people.
Well, so that was what was really cool is when I went to Ryan's house, like everybody was like, oh, you're the kid with the tattoo? Cool, tight. Come on in. Like, fucking,
that's the best story.
It was
ever.
I know. It was really cool. Yeah.
I could. So awesome.
Yeah, those guys like.
I'm just saying, you're very fortunate that that's what you tattooed on your back. Luckily, like they came up with a really good logo and.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I started in the club.
Now you literally can never leave this club.
No, I would never leave anyways. It's
I know, but I'm just saying, like with that story and everything, it's like that you're set.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. They were really cool. Everybody was really cool.
That's
and I just kept going around, and then I petitioned for about 2 years or 2 or 3 years, and then what's the other one that Bob Hayes was doing that they did a couple of them?
West Coast Nationals.
West Coast Nationals is when I got my full logo, which was super cool. That's like when I finally was like, yo, I'm an official club member, and I want to say I'm at like 15 years now that I've been in the club.
Yeah, that's cool. What kind of truck did you have at that moment?
The S10, the Panda truck.
Oh, the Panda truck.
But it was red. It was red, so it was just slammed like real low. I didn't really. Okay, so that's questions I was going to ask you guys.
Oh,
so
it wasn't bagged?
At the time, it wasn't bagged, but
When you got full logo, was it bagged?
yes, it was.
Okay.
So that's where I wanted to get with you guys. So like, I don't know if this is official. There's no official anything, but in Arizona, at the time, Bobby or Pat would give you basically a mission, and once you accomplish the mission, and you come around, you hang out, and you're cool and everything, then you can get your logo. So mine was, I had to have my truck at a show, running and driving, doesn't have to go to the show, but off a trailer, body dropped. So I bagged and body dropped the Panda truck, got it to West Coast Nationals, and that was what
completed
got,
your mission.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly. So that's what kind of got me to be an official member. Was I completed my mission, basically, is what it was.
We just meet people at gas stations in the middle of the desert that ask for directions, and then we're like, you're part of
Yeah,
us.
no, you're forbidden.
You made it.
Yeah.
You made it.
Where are you sleeping? Okay.
Yeah, so do you guys have like club rules? Like that's what I want to know. Like
No.
So here, this is a funny story. When I got into Forbidden, we had bylaws, and they were a few pages long, very basic. This was in '95, so you had to go to 3 meetings and have 3 modifications to your vehicle. I took over being president in 1998. I changed all that and made it way more strict because 3 modifications. They're like,
not
you
that
have
hard.
exhaust and it's lowered and like this. It's like, no.
Back in my club, it was like, you have tent, a CD player, and
Yeah. So
different wheels,
Well,
you
back
know?
in the day, it's like I shaved my tailgate and I had 3 mods right there.
yes. So it was a very different
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
I changed the bylaws and made them way more strict and all this stuff. And then when No Regrets started, Ernie took those bylaws, crossed out Forbidden Fantasy, and wrote
That's
No
what.
Regrets.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And me and Ernie over time kind of made very similar rules. Petitioning for a year, just all this stuff, And but yeah, so that's for Forbidden Fantasy. We have what's called the 10 Commandments,
Okay.
and they're just very simple.
Very
Petitioning
simple
minimum of a year.
Okay.
No club jackets. Club jackets members only. Shirts can be bought by petitioners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
If you have a truck, it has to lay frame. If you have a car, it has to be as low as possible.
Yeah.
But now things are changing again because trucks, like a mini truck, like I would let a 19, like for example, 84 clean Toyota, just static dropped, but looking right. Like I think that's worthy of being in a mini truck club now.
Yeah. Well, the times, man. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's time. I never thought I would say a static drop truck was cool. I was like, nope, it's
Yeah.
got to be, And now I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. Like the Dakota, for example, it's
Very
fitting
cool.
for
It's
that.
Oh,
It might
yes.
not be. It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Because like
yeah,
a static drop,
it's a kind of like a.
But at the
it's a
same
very
time-
very
Interesting
gray
thing.
area.
But
It's almost
Yeah.
vehicle to vehicle.
Yeah, but at the
Yeah.
same time, would you logo the Dakota the way it is?
No.
Exactly. So it's kind of one of those that like we'll give you a little thing for the windshield, but you would
Yeah.
never full logo a vehicle that's not.
No, it would to me, it would have to be like a Toyota. Like say, I always just use this as an example: an '84 Toyota pickup, 16-inch wheels, as low as it could get, very clean, full stock interior. It's almost like a resto mod,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a mini truck. But
Yeah.
you couldn't do that to a Tacoma
Yeah. True.
because a Tacoma
It's like almost too new.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like it's just
There
like having
could-
a
and
new
that's
truck.
where I'm saying that's where we're going through a change now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where static drop mini trucks are cool in a certain.
Yeah.
We haven't
Yeah.
really been like presented with that problem yet.
No, we haven't.
so-
Do you guys have club dues?
No,
Do you have required meetings?
no.
No.
See, that's how No Regrets has been since day one.
Yeah.
It's we got to know that you're still out here doing things and you're still supporting and you're representing the right way.
Yeah.
There's no required meetings. There's no required dues. This is how Arizona is, at least.
Yeah.
We get together. It's like, honestly, like, I hate to say it, but like, I don't participate like I should.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, like, I should be at more stuff, but I think that I have a little bit of leniency because of what I do.
Yeah.
And how it's already consumed my life.
And you also daily drive your logo truck.
Oh, all the time.
You
Like,
represent there's different levels of representation.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to everything to also be hardcore in your club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know, like that's where that's just kind of how I think about it. Now there are some people that just disappear.
Yeah.
And you don't see them ever. You know.
So do you guys have a rule that? So we have a rule that you can leave. You can't say that you're done, but you can always take time for family or life.
100%.
And you can always come back. But the second you say I'm done, there ain't no coming back.
There's no coming back. Yeah, it's pretty much that. And it is like, in order for a club to survive, in order for a club to stay around for a long time, when you're young, when you're 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, the club's the most important thing. Partying's the most important thing. Going to shows is the most important. You want everyone to participate. And if you don't go, why didn't you go? You're stupid.
Yeah.
Then you get older and you have kids.
Yep.
And then things change. And you bring the kids to shows. But then they get into sports.
Yep. That's
and then your weekends are now consumed with sports.
Yep.
If your club doesn't understand that, your club will go away. Or you won't have the right people in your club because...
I think honestly, man, if you view your club over your family, there's something.
Our club thing is always your family and your work come before the club. It goes that. Family, work, club. Family, work, club, and then whatever else. You know, if you're going to be part of something, you definitely need to put effort into it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but you also have to understand that it goes both ways because, and there's only ever like a solid core. Like if you have a club of 30 people, there's only like usually like a percentage that do things all the time, and that percentage always changes.
Yeah. Well, and the people in that percentage change.
Yeah. You'll have like
that's always.
Yeah.
So,
for me, it's always exciting to like when you're, because like we're a little bit different. So since we do this all the time, and this is like our life and our job, it's cool from my perspective. It's cool doing it all the time, and then seeing different people come in and out because. The people who are doing it at the time, it's awesome, and then they go do their own thing. But when someone else comes in back in, you get excied. You're like, yes, this person's back.
Yeah, we've been experiencing that right now. We have Brian Garcia, we call him Little Brian, Mike Gallego. Like these are guys that were back in the club in the late '90s, early 2000s, hardcore. Yeah, Little Brian he was my roommate. We partied a lot. Yeah. That's all we did. And then he moved out, and then he met someone. Started a family, all this stuff, and then he's coming back in, and I'm so excited for that. You know what I mean?
It's fun. You get stoked for it.
It's just like, it's like old times again, and we're all like, it's like getting the band back together type thing. And we can't do everything every weekend.
Yeah, of course.
But the couple of times a year that we do get together, it's
a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like tonight should be really good because I haven't really I missed Severed this year, which that's usually my go-to show. Had family stuff, so I couldn't make it this year. And so tonight there should be a good No Regrets turnout at that Rolling in the Dough. Yeah. So it should be really good to get hanging out with everybody again.
I think you nailed it on the head. Is the understanding part. Like if you're not understanding of that stuff, then like you said, it's just going to run out of gas and it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. So just having the understanding that there is this influx, this ebb and flow of members and participation and stuff like that. If people are listening right now and they're maybe dealing with those issues in their club right now and they're like, man, I wish it was like this. Try to look at it a little more objectively.
Yeah. And you're in a club. You're in a club because you like trucks. You're in a club because you like to socialize. Go do that.
Yeah.
The rest will follow.
Yeah.
I've been to many shows by myself. I've been to all throughout the entire time I've been in Forbidden Fantasy. Yeah. I've been to stuff because I wanted to go. If you want to go with me, cool.
Sick, yeah.
If you don't, you're
That's
bad.
Fine. Yeah.
Whatever. Do what you got to do. You know, the more the merrier, but I'm still going to go do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad because
the person
I'm not going to get mad because you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Because there's times now where I don't want to go.
Right.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Because that always if you were like that, if you were one of those people who were always like, everybody's got to go, I'm going, I go to this, I go to that. That other shoe is eventually going to drop because life is life.
Yeah.
And it will drop, and then you'll be the one. She's like, I can't go.
Yeah.
You know? So try to have some grace about that. You know what I mean?
Do you guys have no-nos in your club? What's a big no-no? I was told no displays at shows.
Really?
No pulling a wheel. You're not allowed to pull a wheel, even if your shit's chrome.
Ernie was
underneath.
very. I don't know if this is an Arizona thing, but I remember Ernie being pretty like about wire wheels type stuff.
Wire wheels?
Yeah, and I don't know what it was.
He didn't like them.
It was something like you
because we're not a lowrider club.
Yes,
that's
my
what it
old
was.
club was like that.
It was, you had to have fully adjustable suspension. In the beginning, it was fully adjustable suspension, completed vehicle. If it's a full size, it has to lay frame. If it's a mini truck, it has to lay body. So it's kind of one of those that, like, unless it's a completed finish like yours, like you have a paint job, you have interior, you have a stereo, it's a completed finished truck, that's acceptable. But if it's still like your interior shit and your paint's you got to have it on the ground. It's got to be a body dropped, or it's not going to be accepted, kind of thing. So it's kind of one of those,
That's the one thing I've always admired about No Regrets is the dedication to the look, the quality. And one thing that, I never noticed it.
Dude.
I mean, I've been in this scene for most of my life too, but I never really noticed until you pointed it out. And you're like, well, you notice that No Regrets, they park, and we do it too, like park all the minis together, park all the full sizes together. Because it's like that attention to detail is important. And I always admired that.
Oh yeah, it's mini trucks and then full sizes and then cars and then shit boxes in the back. So that's I know that because I always park in the back. So that's how we line stuff up. Yeah, it's you keep the minis together, you keep the full sizes, keep the cars, and then shit boxes in the back. So it's anything that's we call them shit boxes.
Don't let Bobby show up and it's not organized.
Well, Bobby's been there since Ernie passed. Bobby's been there doing a really good job setting people up and showing up and making sure that shit is done right, which is really awesome. Which is like he's done a great job with that, which is really cool. Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna branch off into something else, but it's something that I don't really know about, so I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, so you asked about no-nos in our club. No, I mean, don't be a jerk. Like
our club's
that's a big no-no.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and I like simplicity.
Yeah.
Like, now being older, I don't want to deal with anything. I figure if you're a grown up, you deal with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And when things are weird, that's why we don't have an Arizona chapter. Because
you don't have an Arizona chapter?
No. There's people out here that want me to start one, and I don't want to do it because I don't want to do things. Yeah. If I start a chapter, then I feel
you're responsible
obligated
for a lot more shit,
to go to stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm
makes
not
sense.
there yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever will be. So I don't.
Maybe it's coming soon. No, I was kidding.
Oh yeah.
As we glance over at Brian's Tacoma sitting here,
taking over my presidency of SoCal.
You're coming back.
I'm coming back.
It's a small commute. You tell Robbie, you're like, sorry, man, I'm back. You're out.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think he'd have a problem.
No. It's so simple. It's a simple thing. It is literally a simple thing. Work on your truck, build your truck, go to car shows, have fun. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You would think that that's simple, and it's not.
It's really not for a lot of people. It's kind of weird.
But then again, for the people that it's not, they will eventually see themselves out anyway, and then you're stuck with, or not stuck, but you're left with what you want.
Yeah.
And
don't make anybody's life difficult, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just be.
Just be.
Do we want to get into the viewer questions that we have?
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm kind of.
Well,
okay. All right, let's talk trucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought we were doing that whole time.
Okay, so
he's all no. Now the truck stuff starts now.
Okay. Let's talk trucks.
Okay.
S10s, you hate them. Why?
Because at this point it's just funny. Above
like, you don't love the body line that continues through the fender all the way around the wraps the tailgate. Like, that's my favorite part about the whole truck. It's the body line that goes through the whole thing.
Nothing against S10s. I think they're cool.
All right.
It's just like I said, above anything else. I like funny things. I like being funny, and it's just gotten to the point now about my hatred for S10s is just simply funny. Well, at this point,
I feel like there was an era where the S10 was like the C10. That's like everybody had them.
That's where that comes from. That's exactly where it comes from.
I think, and oh boy, this might open up a can of worms, but I think it comes from like way back in the day. Just so many people had S10s.
Yeah,
and
it was the easy way in.
And I'm not saying that this was correct or how I thought it's, or maybe I did think it at one time or whatever, but it was like. It was almost like, oh well, yeah, man, you could just open up a catalog and build an S10.
Yeah,
there was that time in like
thing,
the it's like the C10 thing. It's like that mid 2000s thing where it was like where Thorbreck was making all the parts for S10s, and you could buy a bolt-on. Like I remember that.
You had a bolt-on back half.
Bolt-on back half.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Which is cool, which is great, which now in my perspective of life, like that makes a ton of sense. But me being a dumb young person who has some sort of like macho thing about it or mentality. It's like, oh well, that's stupid. Why why can't you like fabricate it or whatever? And also, I'm a guy who doesn't know how to weld, so that was very bold of me to say that. But no, I had an S10. Well, my first like mini truck was an S10.
Oh, nice.
I had a full size OBS on hydros, and I traded that for a bagged S10, and that's how I got into this whole scene. So if it wasn't for S10s, I wouldn't be sitting here where I am now. And yeah, that was a great truck. I love that truck.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many great S10s out there, but yeah, I love S10s. I think they're cool.
Good to hear.
But I love Toyotas more.
Yeah.
So I can say that. Like I love S10s, but I love Toyotas.
I gotta
more.
say the same. I feel the same. My Tacoma parked next to a body dropped S10. I would take the Tacoma over the S10.
It's. I don't know what it is either. I'm the same way.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man.
But I will say sometimes there's always that S10 that sticks out in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like
some amazing S10s.
Yeah, but there's always the ones that you're just like they're perfectly put together, the perfect color. Like to me, an S10, like a all candy wine red or like
S10s look better in red.
Dark or a dark blue or something. They look really elegant, and with the right wheel combination, it just does look really.
Yeah.
It looks.
It's really easy to mess up an S10. The look of it,
I think when they're too bright, bright, in my opinion, they don't need to be bright. I think they need to be deep. The colors need to be deep and rich.
Yeah,
because they do have really good lines, and I want to see through the paint. You know what I mean? Type thing where a Tacoma you can put like a bright blue or a bright yellow or a bright red type thing. They're more sporty.
Oh,
I go through these phases where I like get obsessed with trucks, and I just I start filming them and taking photos and sharing them, and it's funny because I get this this thing about me and S10s and billet wheels and stuff like that, but the guy in our club, Georgie, with his S10, that's one of my favorite trucks ever, and I got obsessed about that truck. I would take photos. I made shirts of it, I made stickers, and I just get obsessed about trucks. So I think it's funny that I get this rep, but one of my favorite trucks is an S10. That's in the club. But you're right, it's all about the looks. It's all about the vibe, and you can't. I mean, the same thing you could do with a Toyota. You can make a Tacoma look not great.
Yeah.
There are some out there, and I'm not going to say who, but there are some trucks out there that I would some people are like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's trucks out there like Oliver's truck that is just so super badass.
Iconically perfect. Beautiful truck. Beautiful truck.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of an S10 that I think fits that category too.
There's a guy that I just started following on Instagram. I was telling you about it. It's all red, extended cab. It has 20-inch wires on it, but they're black, and it just fits the truck, and it looks amazing. And it just, for some reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
The guy that did it also has a Subaru, so he's into import stuff, but it's the way that he executed that. It's that's now one of my top trucks. The way he finished it, but it's all stock. It's all stock looking.
That one that was in Severed, and it was at Mini Nats. It was parked in front of our booth with Tony's Mazda. It was a purple one.
Oh, that one's beautiful.
Yeah, that one's sick.
That's a sick truck.
Yeah.
And purple, you don't think purple, but that truck cruising down the street in purple, I was like, sick.
Yeah, it's all about execucation. It's all about style. It's all about
and then things just come together.
Yeah.
Right size wheel, right style wheel.
I like that white one too. That's in is he in Local Finesse out here? The roof cut off, the Roadster.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
That
yeah,
one.
that was
My
cool.
God, the way they finished the doors, they did it right, because when you chop the roof off an S10, the window line is too low, so it doesn't blend with the bed. So they must have built the side of the doors up.
Is that the one on smoothie wheels? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and smoothies on top of it fit an S10 perfect.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Yeah, that's a cool truck.
Yeah, you can pull stuff off in an S10 that you can't with the Toyota.
Mm-hmm. True. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a mental thing being an American truck versus a Japanese truck, or I don't know what it is, but you can pull it off like deep dish wheels. They pull off better in an S10 than a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
They look good on Toyotas, but it has to be it can't just be any deep dish wheel or any size or any diameter. It has to be the right diameter, the right width, the right stance, the right color, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. Is it Doug that has Berkmeyer? Does that make sense?
He has an S10.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Is that
with not a blower, but with the
hood
scoop sticking out of it. Yeah,
that color on it's like an old Chevy color, but the way he pulled off that whole truck with the different front end and
which is very hard to do.
Very hard to do, and that the scoop setup on that thing is perfect. It's not out of the hood and it's not hiding. It's halfway.
Crispy, the silver S10.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
one of the most beautiful trucks ever built. Little Shop.
Oh,
the
yeah.
silver one.
Oh, come on. Oh, the spike truck.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's an amazing truck.
You wouldn't even know that thing was chopped if you didn't.
The blue one with the V8 in it, it's blue and red.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's another one.
I love it. I like it.
Cool.
Like
yeah.
But back to about Berkmeyer and his truck. We're talking about like execution and visions, and he's an artist. He's a tattoo artist, so he already knows the right combinations of things to make it look cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that always plays a huge part in it.
Yeah.
Because if someone was like, you know, just some like lame dude just building a truck, he's like, well, I'm just gonna go get these wheels.
Yeah.
Everybody has those wheels, so I'm gonna go get that wheels, and everybody paints it this color, so I'm gonna paint it that color.
Yeah.
And then that's when you end up with one of those like, it's cool, but
Watching it. All right, testing. That's recording.
Test recording.
We had a little bit of a hiccup.
A little bit of hiccup. I don't know where
the
it's
shop,
going to
man.
blend in.
It's the shop.
It's the shop. So
Shit.
we're going to do drop it in. Ready? Here we
Yep.
go. Drop it in. So you don't hear it.
Oh.
So you have to kind of.
I dropped everything. I knew the drops would come. Drop it!
Oh,
Okay.
hey.
Welcome to
we're
Drop It
dropping
In.
in.
So we're doing things a little bit different. This is
Yeah.
kind of new because like usually we wouldn't say who the guest was. We would
Yeah.
just like kind of announce it, but we're doing things a little bit different. We announce who the guests are. We ask people to drop us questions for our guests, and you're our first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the first
So-
person to participate.
We have to keep these short and simple.
Oh.
All right, because
Okay,
we
all
got
right.
Because we
All
have
right.
been,
we got a heart out.
How long?
We got a heart out.
Okay.
How
all
many?
right.
How many questions? And how
There's,
long do we have?
5.
20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Ask.
Cool dude.
Yes. Will you accept customer builds such as air ride on cars, or will you only stick to trucks with full frame builds? We kind of went over this. So, like, would you accept?
Yeah.
You bag cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Like-
did that Cadillac.
Yeah, the Cadillac
And the
was recent.
Camry.
And the Camry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cars are easy.
Yeah.
Easy installs.
Yep.
Yeah, all day.
All day.
Not a problem.
All day fab.
All day.
Oh.
fab.
Oh, yeah.
I like Andy. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Mad Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Some of these I just copied and pasted. So he put, when was the day
One thought of
what you thought for the Panda shop, and what's the full dream of it all?
I think we answered that question. I think he's asking like, how did Panda become Panda?
What is your ultimate dream of this shop? What's your end goal?
to where I can just come in and make sure things are flowing and I can leave.
Just you? You want employees?
Well, that's what I mean. Like having
Okay.
people to where, eventually get to that point.
You want a
where
project to pull in? It can just be started and just
well, it's either that. The goal, obviously, with any shop is to become the guy that just shows up and make sure things are flowing. And you have a guy that you can make sure that he knows what he's doing, and the people below him to work from there.
Yeah,
so
you can jump in
that's
and
obviously the dream. At the same time, I would love a small shop where I could do one build a year. So it's kind of one of those. You know, it's
See where you end up kind of thing.
yeah. So
Jason Bacon.
Our buddy Bacon.
Our buddy Bacon. This is our number one guy here. We've already answered a lot of these. But where did the Panda come from? We answered that.
Yep.
He also said, was it a previous love of the JDM world? It didn't have anything to do to JDM.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Are pandas prevalent in the JDM space?
Well, technically, pandas are from China, not from Japan. So,
Oh, was it? From, he put,
Panda-
was it? He
Panda-
put, was it from the JDM world or from people that find him cute and cuttable like a panda?
Panda dropping the pet facts about pandas.
Also, where did the Tech 9 come from in the
did,
logo?
Did you know that the Chinese government owns all the pandas in the world?
yes, I did know that. They actually rent them out to zoos around
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
I do know that.
And they got mad
Every-
at us, so they took them.
Yeah,
They
it
took
was-
them back.
They did.
They took them back, but they're going to give us to him back.
Yeah, they
They're like,
will.
"Give us our
They-
pandas."
They did. Yeah, I do know that.
They had a meeting in San Francisco about the pandas.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Where'd the gun come from? Was it just did we talk about
Yeah,
that?
we talked about that. How the artist just
I used to be into snowboarding,
Yeah.
and there's a snowboarding company called Tech 9, and it's just a bunch of white dudes in gangster clothes, and they do street rides. They don't do mountains, and that was the coolest thing. So I was like, I need a Tech 9. You know what I mean? I
Okay,
was like, that's
cool.
the coolest. You ever shot a Tech 9? Garbage. You couldn't hit the camera from here.
they just look cool.
So
Yeah,
it was
it
a bunch
looked
of
really
a bunch of white dudes in the snow pretending they're gangsters that shot terrible guns.
Yeah. So if you want to get on YouTube and you search Tech 9 State of Mind, it's a 45-minute playlist, uninterrupted. They've got like 800 views on it, so keep
Well,
it
the only
low,
Tech
and there
9
won't be
I
any
know is
commercials.
the hip hop Tech 9.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam Barnhurst, what is your favorite build of all time?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. Because I really like the stuff I'm doing now.
Yeah. What's your favorite build anyone's ever done of all time? I think maybe that was he was talking about.
Well,
what's your favorite truck ever out of any shop?
Okay, so there's a couple that, and you know what's weird is they're all Tacomas.
See?
You know what's crazy is
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
in my top 5 was the Tacoma before I bought it.
The race truck.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I was like fully dedicated. I was like, I love that truck. So that's definitely one of my top 5s. Oliver's Tacoma, amazing. I wouldn't change a thing on it. Let me think.
That's a lie. We talked about it the other day, but we won't talk about it.
No, I'm just kidding. It's something really small that's very easy to fix. Let me know. Bring it in.
Oliver, bring it in.
I'll change it. Just kidding. You know what? I really like the one that I didn't do is that Tacoma that was at Forbidden in the other parking lot with the flames with the stickers all over the windshield.
Oh, was that Carlos's? That's a 89 and 95.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
No, that's a Tacoma.
it's a got Tacoma front end.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's probably why I like it. I'm like, why does the roof look so big?
Yeah.
But I love that truck. I
Yeah,
love
that's a
that
cool
one.
truck.
Let me think, man. I don't know. As far as like building stuff, there's nothing that I've been like, oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
'Cause
Not yet.
I hate. I was gonna say I hate
Yeah, I know.
everything that comes out of here.
This is
Halfway
gonna be
through,
the
I'm
crown
like,
jewel.
Nah, dude, I hate that truck. No, every truck that's in here, halfway through, I'm like, I hate this truck. But then as soon as it leaves, I'm like, man, I love that truck. So
I think Carl's is going to be one that you're like.
definitely Carl's truck is gonna be one of the top that I'm gonna be like, that's definitely one of my favorite builds.
Yeah. Because it's Carl too, and he's like. He's gonna be one of those guys that just drives it, does everything right.
It's gonna be seen a lot.
Yeah,
it's gonna be seen a lot. Cisco's truck, I love the suspension and how it's turning out. That's definitely one of my top trucks. I'm trying to think, man. I can't really think of anything that I'm like, I want that. Oh, you know what? Thompson has a hatchback Civic, the silver one.
Oh yeah, the silver one.
Oh my God, if I could get that car, I would love it.
He'll never get rid of
I
that
know
car.
he won't. I've asked him, and he told me to fuck off many times. Joe from Freaks in Nature. What's his Instagram?
Out here?
Road Glide Joe or something.
No.
He's got that Tacoma, the 4-door with the short bed with the 2JZ. It's blue. It's a two-tone. It was on the cover of Mini Truck and had TSW 5 spokes.
I don't
It's
know.
a
He
short-
had.
It's a short bed?
bed.
It's well, it's not a
4-door.
tiny bed. It's a short bed.
Oh yeah, it's from a long time ago.
From a long
I thought
time
it was a
ago.
relaxed atmosphere truck.
No, he has it now because he had Bobby Thompson's, the one that Steve Wilkes built, the S10.
Yeah.
He got that from that guy, and then that guy bought that Tacoma, and he's been doing.
Yeah, so it's a
things here
crew
and there.
cab with a regular bed on it. Like
Yeah,
this.
It's blue, different colors, blue. I think there's a simple graphic. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
love
Yeah,
that
yeah,
truck.
yeah.
Like love that
Yeah.
truck. Like
Yeah.
whenever he's ready to get rid of that, I don't have the money for it, but let me know.
Yeah,
I
my
know
dream
what
is
you're
a 2JZ and a Tacoma.
Oh yeah,
That'd be cool.
all day.
That'd be so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll do it one day.
he's gonna put a turbo on it. He said.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my like
Nice.
half JZ.
Yeah, I don't know. I
All
really, when I walk around a show, I go, oh, that one's sick. I really like this, or I really like that, or.
Your favorite type of truck to build? We went over that. How do you design your suspension setups? Is it with a computer CNC or apps? And then he says, absolutely love your work.
No, I don't do anything on the computer. Anything that's on the computer is just on Plasma Cam, and it's just a simple cut and draw, and then I build everything off of that. As far as design-wise goes, it's like we talked about. A lot of times I will sit here and stare at a truck for multiple hours. And then at the end of the day, I would go, okay, this is the plan. I start it, and the following day I'll finish building whatever I need built for it. There's really no design idea around stuff. You have to make sure that the functional stuff works first, and that's the most important part. So like on Carl's truck, I did the 4-link. I did all the stuff first to make it work, and then I did the bridge last because I know where it needs to sit. It doesn't function, it doesn't move, but that's the design part that you just have to sit and stare.
And if you guys want to see Carl's stuff that we keep talking about, to go to it's NR Carl on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of.
Yeah.
lot of
You'll see
photos
the
and stuff.
dually on there and stuff, and
Oh,
also
yeah.
your
Yeah.
Instagram too.
Yeah.
Last one, Mike Orth. Do you prefer just a body drop mini truck? Okay, this is a good one. Do you prefer just a body drop mini dropped with basic black frame and links, or a truck that only lays frame but is more detailed?
That is a good question.
Personal
Depends on the
preference.
truck.
Personal
Depends on the
preference.
truck, really. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like if I see,
Because like your truck is laid out.
it's laid out on the ground, but it's got a reverse 4-link, and
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
Well, that's why there's a bed floor.
Yeah, but then you look at a truck like Ryan Roger from Sunset with that
Which one?
blue and silver Toyota from the east side out here. The guy that's throwing the cruise night tonight. His club.
yeah. Mm-hmm. It's
It
super
had a
blue and
shell.
silver.
Has a shell on it.
Yeah.
Well, that's cheating. That truck was painted before it was bagged.
Yeah, I
It's not-
know.
Yeah, it's a
I
very
know.
nice truck. It's a very nice truck. And you know what? I hate to say it, and he's probably gonna get mad. Should have kept the other wheels, man. Like, I loved the smoothies on that truck. You know what I mean? It looked so good.
You know
But
where
the
he
new
got those wheels from?
The new wheels are really nice.
You know where he
too.
got those from? Do you remember the truck Alan painted with all the musicians on it?
Oh yeah. Oh, those are the wheels off that?
Yeah,
Oh, no
they're
way.
HREs.
Oh yeah, the red one.
Remember? And they never went with the other truck either.
Yeah. Okay,
in my
okay.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just don't go with. It's a hard wheel to.
It's a nice wheel.
It is. It's a very nice wheel.
I just feel like the smoothie fit that truck better.
It did. It looked good.
But that is a nice. I really like that truck.
Yeah.
It's a
And
very
yeah,
nice
and
truck.
that's the point that
Yeah.
they're saying. Like, it just lays frame, but I mean, it's super
It's
nice.
a very nice truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It really just depends on the truck, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a lot of times I can see a total piece of junk that the frame is beautiful, and
Yeah.
I would take that over a truck that's finished and painted and done. You know what I mean? That I'm
That's
like,
one
eh.
thing you see in the C10 world. Going back to that conversation, is
Yeah.
you do see a lot of. You can get away with the patina truck,
Yeah, which is I don't.
but the frame's beautiful.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
can get
yeah,
away
yeah.
with like a junky outside.
Like the
With a-
C10 that Chris built, with the big wheel tubs and the TIG welded chassis.
Yeah.
Patina truck, beautiful truck, amazing truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it fits that because I
Yeah.
feel like he did it right because he left the frame raw.
yeah,
So he left all the sheet metal raw. So
yeah.
it, eventually
but you
it
can't
will
do that
patina.
with a mini truck.
I don't think you can.
No, not yet. It's
I don't
not.
think
It's not. There's because it goes back to the barn find mentality,
Yeah.
and a barn find is not a Toyota pickup or an S10.
Yeah.
Right.
Those get thrown in the trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? Like now,
Nobody has patch panels for a Tacoma's
You're right.
floor.
Well-
you know what I mean, it's
you just look at now. The Toyotas are just being sought after.
yeah, which those prices are out of control.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, anything else before we wrap it up? This is the long. I think this will be the longest podcast.
I think so. Yeah.
I can fucking talk, man. I told him.
Dude, that's what we do.
That's what we do.
No, yeah, this is cool. This is really good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the next one me and Scott got to have a sit down. We'll have a recap.
That would be a fun one to do.
I think so, too.
On a technical ass point.
That would be
ass
cool.
point.
Ass point.
Ass point.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
All right.
Aspect.
Well, yeah. I just want to say thanks for all the help with my truck.
Yeah.
no problem.
like,
yeah,
yeah. When I brought it here after a straight drive from Dallas, like, hey man, I really want to get this at the 30 year. You were like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well.
To go from what it was to what it is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
incredible.
From when it showed up. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
It was I remember. Yeah, he banged on the door. The door's locked because we were getting down in here and stuff, and I'm like, fuck. Open the door. I was like, oh shit.
What is
He looked
that?
like he just woke up.
I had
Like hair's all messed up.
I had woken up
Did
the
you just
day
drive straight here?
I woke up the day before in Dallas and spent all day awake into the night. Loaded it up at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then drove straight here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, hey. I was like, oh,
I brought you this, and you're like, "What is
And then
that?"
I was like, walked him outside.
It was very rough when it got dropped off.
Well, it was.
Just the body.
It was just and it still is. If you look at the inside of it and where the firewall and stuff is,
Yeah.
yeah, and the bed, and it was just, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I feel like we have a really good deal going on, even though we don't have a deal.
Yeah.
It's working out perfect because it's the time that I spend in that is just gonna be publicized, and it does nothing but gain credit and reputation. So Thank you for bringing it here.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing
good,
it.
Me
so.
too. Yeah.
I just wish I lived closer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's gonna be one of those things you're gonna start just getting a hotel room when you drive over here.
You might as well.
Well, I wouldn't just schedule work over here with Jason at Arizona High Test or Travis.
Oh,
I told Travis,
yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm gonna be. He's like, I'm trying to film this stuff on my phone. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be out here a couple times in the next few weeks. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
no
perfect.
one cares about that though.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Thank you. I'm excited to hear from everybody else though. It's like I'm really excited for Scott. I'm really excited for all
the other guests.
You guys should announce this stuff. Like I'm really excited for everybody's.
We talked about that last night that we're going to pre-announce guests.
I think you should because pre-promotions is where it's at.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
We're learning.
We're learning.
But anyway, thanks for being on the show. Your socials. Like what? Like
600. I'm kidding.
458 39.
What's up?
I was giving my social.
Social security number.
That's what I was like. Yeah.
All right, we're at Panda Fab.
Panda Built Fab is on Instagram. Otherwise, it's NR Panda with an underscore in between. We are working on a website right now. It's pandasuspension.com. Don't go search it yet because it's not done. You can't buy anything. You can look at stuff. As soon as I start building small things, they'll go on the website weekly. Right now, we're preparing for sticker packs, banners, T-shirts, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna talk to him.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah. I took those images and I'm trying to. I sent them to my guy. He's gonna take them down to 4 colors.
Oh, cool. Oh,
so
perfect.
that's what you said.
That's what we talked about. Yeah.
And they're turning out pretty good too.
Awesome.
So we just gotta figure out.
Well, we got to stop recording right now.
Yeah,
okay,
we got to go. All right, bye. We'll see you next week. Later.